talk. What the fuck? And we live. Why did it change? We live. Let's see what's going on. I don't know what the fuck just happened here. I don't know what's happening. Hey, how y'all doing? Hey, what's up? Hey, I'm trying to change my stuff up on here. So, hey, I've been gone for a while. Been gone for a week. You know, took the family to Disney World because it's Disney World. So, hope everybody's doing good on this. I think today's Wednesday. On this Wednesday, hope everybody's doing good. Hey, we're going to be talking about nursing and NCLEX stuff, but we're specifically going to be talking about failure today. I'm just trying to put my thing back up here, man. Like, I don't understand like why it does that. Hey, so if you're just now joining me, which I just now got on, so I hope you're just now joining me. My name is Kevin. I'm a nurse. I'm an NCLEX coach, creator, YouTube, all that good jazz. We're going to be talking about failure today. Just going to kind of give it a second to see what's going on with everybody. If you guys have never been here before, you know, just an open discussion. We're talking about failures, failures throughout all aspects of life, but specifically, we're going to talk about the NCLEX. For all those that don't know, the NCLEX is changing. The NCLEX is going to a different style of conveying information, and that starts on April 1st. Not an April Fool's joke. This is real, people. It is not a drill. Kevin Hart says, something along the lines of that. So, like I said, I'm still trying to figure out why my background changed because, it just wants to do what it wants to do. So, for everybody that's joining, let me know where you guys are from. Where are you guys at in your nursing journey? What have y'all been doing this weekend or this past weekend? Like, what y'all got coming up this weekend? So I know everybody's in full swing. Everybody's in full swing of graduating or starting to kind of wind down from the semester. So, just let me know where you guys are from, where you guys are at in your journey and all that good jazz. There we go. I finally figured it out because I'm slow like that. And I kind of have to rig my phone to kind of just do what I wanted to do. So y'all kind of forgive me because your boy is slow today. Your boy is slow. I think I got it. All right, cool. Hey, so up there, like I said, I'm a nurse, an NCLEX coach. We're going to talk about failure today. If anybody needs or requires coaching or anything like that, you can go check out thebootnurse.com. I'm actually in the middle of a revamp right now when it comes to doing my coaching. So you better get it while it's there. You better get it while it's hot. Okay. I just saw somebody say that they got accepted into nursing school and they started in September. Hey, congratulations to you, baby boo. No, but for real, congratulations to you for getting into nursing school. It's already really hard to kind of get into nursing school, although getting through nursing school is a bit tougher. But we're not gonna disregard you getting into a nursing school because nursing school is very prestigious. Nursing is just very prestigious along all lines of professions. So congratulations to you for getting into nursing school. Hey, I appreciate everybody joining. Let me know where you guys are from, where you guys are at in your nursing journey. If you guys have never been to one of my lives before, my name is Kevin. I'm a nurse. I'm an NCLEX coach. I've been doing coaching for almost 3 years. I'm also in the military. If anybody ever cares about that, make sure you guys go over to my YouTube channel, my Instagram, on all that good jazz. All of the same handles are at the Boot Nurse, as well as if you ever need coaching or somebody who needs coaching and assistance, go to thebootnurse.com and your boy will hook you up. First time here. Well, welcome. I hope you come to more and let more people know that, hey, we're here. We're nurses. What we do is we have to coach one another in order for us to be successful and in order for us to keep this profession going, right? You have to always teach. There's some people that don't like to teach. Well, I like to tell them, hey, I don't understand how you became a nurse or how you became anything in your profession if you don't like to teach other people. So understand that we're all about teaching and having people grow here. Florida, I have a friend that failed the NCLEX over 5 times. Hey, if you had a friend that failed their NCLEX over 5 times, hey, send them my way. A little background about me, I failed my NCLEX 3 times, right? And it happens. It happens because there are just all different types of aspects in life that happen. And while most of the stories are all the same, being it be financial, it be divorce, it be kids, it be choosing, your regular job to make ends meet over, studying for an exam, like it happens. All right. But this is life. But just because you fail doesn't mean that you're out. You may be down, but you're not out. You may be, how does it go? You may be delayed, but never denied. Okay. So always remember that as well. Hey, shout out for all the likes. If you guys are understanding and getting value, make sure you guys are smashing that like button for me. Okay. Give me all them hearts. I want all the love over here today on this Wednesday. I like to get real hype when I talk. Sometimes I talk a little fast and all that good stuff. You start to see me do stuff like this. That's because I'm starting to get real passionate about some stuff, about anything. All right. But to your friend that failed their NCLEX over 5 times, them passing or failing, them failing at NCLEX does not determine what type of nurse that you're going to be. Like I said, I failed my NCLEX 3 times. I passed it on the 4th until I just figured it out for myself. And then once I started to figure out where where I had a deficit at, it just at the end, it all just kind of made sense. Okay. So for your friend that failed, hey, send them my way, bootnurse.com. I do a free 30-minute session. Like I said, we're in the middle of a revamp right now, trying to get some stuff taken care of. I'm also working on an NCLEX review, so you guys be looking out for that. It'll still be at the same website, thebootnurse.com. Everything that you'll ever need or ever want will be at thebootnurse.com. So you guys keep checking out that website, okay? For those that are just joining me, y'all let me know where you're from, who you are, where you're from, where you at in your nursing journey. My name's Kevin. I go by the Boot Nurse, by everything. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on YouTube. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter. Sometimes I put stuff on Twitter, so make sure you guys are over there checking that out. Let me see what some of y'all are putting up in here. I need help. I'm an LPN who is trying to pass the exit exam from my RN program so I can take the NCLEX. So I know that there's a lot of most nursing schools now, like you have to take that final exit exam. Usually it's like in leadership or transitions, which consists of, like delegation, management of care, and all that good stuff. So that for a fact, I do know that you guys have to test. Luckily for me, a lot of those exit exams started to really impede the school's numbers as well as impede people taking the NCLEX and graduating. So my suggestion to you when it comes to studying for that RN, or not the RN, but for the exit exam, is using whatever material your school is using. So our school used HESI. Don't like HESI at all. Your school may use ATI. Some other schools use Kaplan. So I would definitely take a look at, those material that they offer, as well as YouTube. Check out YouTube. There are so many people out here that put out free material on how to study for those exams. Okay. I currently am not one of those individuals, but I know so many people that do exit exam prep and all that stuff. So a simple YouTube search won't hurt you at all. Okay. And then, of course, looking at those free websites that they have. Usually I go over a bunch of free websites in here. And if you want me to go over that, we can go over that as well. Okay. I'm trying to catch up. I passed my second time as an RN. Who is that? Steno girl. Hey, congratulations. Hey, everybody go and show Steno girl some love for passing her NCLEX. And now that she's an RN, welcome to the club, or, as some say, welcome to the shit show. So, that NCLEX is a monster. It is definitely a monster. And here's another thing I want to tell you guys about the NCLEX that's going to be changing. The NCLEX is only changing about 40%. Your multiple choice questions are still going to be there. Your select all that apply are still going to be there. What they're adding is like case studies. And then within those case studies, they're adding like spots where you can highlight that are the most important, like the patient's vital signs, what signs and symptoms that they've had, any past medical history, stuff like that. They're going to be adding drop down menus, such as like fill in the blank. So your patient displayed blah, 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 blah. We need to do drop down, and then you get like 3 or 4 answers and you pick from it. So it's kind of like filling in a blank of a paragraph. Multiple choice. I'm sorry, not multiple choice. But select all that apply are going to be, what's the word I'm looking for? They're going to be partial credit. So, it's changing about 40%, but the consistency of the material that's going to be out there, not going to change. I've taken a few new generation NCLEX exams already. While there's a few questions I would be like, what do you mean? I passed every one of them. So I didn't really have an issue. But hindsight's 2020. I've already been a nurse for almost 3 years. So, it kind of works out hand in hand because I understand the basis of critical thinking. They're changing it to help with critical thinking because that is the evolution of how nursing is going. I mean, look at it. Nurse practitioners now can work independently. It's only spreading like wildfire through the rest of the country. Okay. So let me see if I can catch up on some of these questions, and then we're going to start talking about failure. Hey, if you just now joined, my name's Kevin. I'm a nurse, an NCLEX coach. We're going to be talking about failure here in a second. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Give me all the love. Give me all that support. Check me out on other social media platforms. If you know anybody or if you need help with coaching in regards specifically for the NCLEX, either it be PN or RN, check out thebootnurse.com, okay? Let's see what's going on. There's a lot there. You're right. There is a lot of stuff on YouTube. Absolutely. How do you study for the new generation NCLEX? I'm not even going to lie to you, and this isn't to be an asshole, and it's not to be be pompous. That's a word, right? Pompous. It's not to be that way. To study for the new generation NCLEX is, my suggestion is figure out those areas that you don't do well in. So for mine, when I started studying, it was pharmacology and pediatrics. So I started there first. I started with content. After I started with content, I would do content in the morning or content whenever I had a good gap of time. And then after that, I would do a 75 question NCLEX exam. So it'd be a quiz, an assessment, anything of the sort. And then once you do that, you do what I like to call read and review. So you read and review your entire exam. Even if you got the question right, you need to understand why you got the question right, because you literally could go back and see why you got that question right, and you want to know why you got it wrong. They could ask you one question, and then 8 to 10 questions later, they can ask you that same question, but just reword it. And you could, to your surprise, you could get it wrong. Okay. So, that's the way that I did it. In my coaching, I actually break down, like with a calendar, and based off of whatever review that you have. So it could be Archer, UWorld, Kaplan, Hearst, whatever those. And I break that down. Like what to study each day, when to give yourself a break because your brain is a machine. So all that good stuff. So I really do hope that answers your question. So yeah. And another thing, if you guys want to know some YouTube channels that are really helpful, I can go over that too. I have it pulled up on my computer right here if you guys would be a little bit patient with me. But we're going to talk about failure. Okay. So I'm going to talk about my personal experience with failure. You're very welcome, Danae. I'm going to talk about failure. I'm going to talk about me personally first, because I want everybody to understand that I have been in your shoes, whether you're about to take the exam, have taken the exam, and have been unsuccessful multiple times. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and one specific woman said that, she doesn't trust anybody who doesn't fail because, and this is an entrepreneur business type of podcast, and she specifically said she doesn't really trust people that haven't failed, because in order for you to know what you're doing wrong and to be successful, you have to fail at something. No one was ever good at riding a bike at the beginning. Like, you have to fall in order to really understand like why you fell and why not to do it again. Same thing when you're learning how to walk. Like my son right now, he's learning how to walk. My man falls all the time, and I'm like, hey bro, you need to get them legs right, because if you were a deer, this would be a very bad deal for you. So, but no, like he's won and he's learning how to walk. But if he fell multiple times and then he was just like, hey, forget it, I'm not even going to come out here and try to learn how to walk. He would be, steadily, crawling all over the place with no type of progression. Failing or becoming unsuccessful at something will show progression. If you fail an exam, it doesn't matter what it is. If you fail an exam, you have to go back to the drawing board and you have to see why you failed. Okay? You have to, and you have to adjust. Like, you have to be able to adjust to that. Because if you can't adjust, how are you gonna get there? How? Somebody tell me in the comments how you're gonna get there. Right? And also tell me in the comments where you're from and where you are in your nursing journey. Okay? Because it doesn't matter where you are. I've been there. I have been there. All right. Like, I didn't pass my first HESI exam, my first entrance exam when I got into, before I got into nursing school. I failed it by I needed a 75 to get in, and I got a 74. But that's my own fault. because I didn't study for it. I didn't know how to study. I didn't ask anybody. I felt like I was too prideful, or there was so much information out there that I didn't know how to get there, right? So then, lo and behold, guess what I did? I started asking people, hey, I am taking the HESI on getting into nursing school. What do you recommend that I use? Somebody who's already been a nurse, preferably somebody who was kind of fresh at being a nurse, like within like 2 or 3 years, something like that. And they all pretty much told me the same thing. It was that HESI A2 book, right? And I studied that book for about a month. Boom, got like an 89 or 88 or whatever, and then got into nursing school, right? That's just another failure. I had to adjust. Because it's like what I didn't do. I didn't study because I didn't know what to study. I didn't have any guidance, so I had to figure it out, right? I had to figure out where I needed to be. That's the first one. Going all the way through school, oh my Lord, I cannot tell y'all how many tests I failed. And how much at the edge of my seat I was at every semester. I almost failed out of nursing school my very first semester because if y'all don't know, I'm in the Navy. I'm a hospital corpsman. I've been doing, LVN, LPN type medicine. I did that all of probably 12 years before I became an RN. And I was so hard-headed. I knew better than them. And I've been working in the real world. And so for me to go from real world to perfect world, because that's what nursing school and NCLEX is, it was a very hard-headed transition that I had to try to figure out for myself. Okay. So that's that's essentially like, I understand how you feel, like the exit exam. I understand how you feel, but we have to utilize the material that we have because there's nothing else that we can really do about it because, do they really care in nursing school? Some professors do, but the majority of them are just like, hey, churn them and burn them and get them out. That's just my opinion. That's how I feel. That's how I felt when I was in nursing school. Every nursing school sucks. And I'm just keeping that all the way 100. All right. So that's my little spiel on failing, but I'm going to get into NCLEX here in a second. But if you are just joining me, my name is Kevin. I go by the boot nurse. I am a nurse. I've been a nurse for almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years in June, actually. I'm an NCLEX coach. I have been coaching since I have been a nurse. A little bit of background about me. I've been an instructor / teacher / educator since 2015. So I have a lot of teaching background. 3.5 years in surgical technology and another 3.5 years teaching different various courses to include tactical combat casualty care, the trauma nursing core course, pre-hospital trauma life support, and a couple of other ones like advanced burn life support, so on and so forth. So I have a lot of education background that I feel like I could give to you guys because I want you guys to understand that it is okay. And the journey that you are going on in regards to trying to become a nurse and then some after that, the failures and the unsuccessfulness, baby, man, let me tell you, they are going to come. But you got to take them with stride. Let it absorb, understand why. Okay, I'm going to look at some of your questions. What should I do? Failed 3 times and now changing NCLEX. There's one thing we like to say in the military, we like to call it semper gumby, so it's always flexible. So the NCLEX is going to change, and now we are at March 22nd. So I know that if you failed recently, you have that 45-day waiting period, right? So now that you have that 45-day waiting period, it's like, what are you going to do? It's kind of like one of those shit or get off the pot. You have no choice but to adjust to what the NCLEX is about to teach. So one thing I will tell you is that whatever you have been doing to study for that NCLEX and you failed 3 times, what you have been doing has not been working. So think of different ways of how you can study. Do you need a coach? Do you need somebody like me to help guide you, right? Have you been using UWorld for those 3 times? Okay, maybe I don't need UWorld, right? Do you have a content deficit? Like, is there something about content that you're not understanding, right? Are you having a problem understanding NCLEX style questions? Like, do you know the difference between stable and unstable? Acute versus chronic. Like, do you know who needs to do what? Like, what's more important to me? Like ABCs? Oh, I'm sorry. What's more important to me, an airway or somebody who is massively hemorrhaging? I can tell you right now, it's going to be massive hemorrhage because somebody will bleed out faster than they will die from an airway compromise, right? Stop the bleeding, then you would go to airway. That's just an example. Like, do you have a good understanding of the questions? Is it a good like envelopment of all of them, right? So those are the things you have to sit back and you have to actually, think about, write down like where you have that issue at. Okay. So think about that. And even though the NCLEX is changing, like I said, it's only about 40%, but like I said, select auto apply is still going to be there. The scenarios are going to be there. I'm sorry, the case studies are going to be there, and I know most schools have already incorporated doing case studies. Kaplan has a really good NCLEX review that I personally have used, and I did a review. You can go check it out on YouTube at the Boot Nurse, and I loved it. Like I loved it a lot. So definitely worth the money in my opinion. So I really do hope that answers your question. If you guys have any other questions, please drop them in. As a matter of fact, if you guys have any tips and tricks for anyone else, drop them down here in the comments, all right? Because, you know, sharing is caring. Show the love, all right? It says currently LPN taking prerequisites to bridge program in Massachusetts. Hey, I can tell you right now, everything that you've done as an LPN, you might have, not saying to forget it, but use that as a stepping stone. Use that as a stepping stone to expel upon learning how to be an RN. I actually just talked to an LPN this past weekend at when I was at drill. And it was a good buddy of mine. His wife, she's been an LPN for about 5 or 6 years, to the NCLEX and didn't pass it. And it's because she was thinking like an LPN, and you have to think like an RN. Okay. So I wish you nothing but success. I know that you're going to get in there, and I know that you're going to crush it. All right. Let's see what else is going on here. I hate Hesse. Look, let me tell you, I hate Hesse too. Me and Hesse don't get along like that. I think I said something about Hesse. I was like, man, I hate Hesse so much. I'm in nursing school 29 days until you graduate. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. So you're going to be one of them, what we like to call, well, what I guess like to call, you know, the summer baby grads. So what I'll tell you right now, that if you have not been studying for NCLEX, now, well, we're in March. Now would be the perfect time to do it. That way, when you graduate, and they send your authorization to test out, and then they give you all that good stuff, as soon as you get that authorization to test, go ahead and schedule it as soon as possible, because everything that you learned in nursing school, on top of everything that you're acquiring from when you're studying for your review, is going to be fresh. Unlike me, I graduated in 18, and, you know, I had some gaps, and I had some transfers, I had some family issues, I had marital issues, I had all these issues. So, you know, when other things take precedence and importance, you know, you start to lose all that data that you're acquiring. So while you have it fresh in your mind, was that party gnarly? And while you have it all fresh in your mind, start getting that ball rolling. Okay, I hate Hesse. Yeah, we talked about that. I hate Hesse too. Me and Hesse don't get along like that. Kaplan was pretty good. I agree. I love Kaplan because they give you, it's like a one-stop shop. They give you everything. Like Kaplan is exactly like why Kaplan along with other people out there like Mark Klimek are like it's like the reason why. Another reason why I am creating an NCLEX review. One reason why I'm creating an NCLEX review is because, like I said, I failed my NCLEX, and I never, ever, ever, ever want anyone to feel how I felt when I failed my exam. I never want anyone to feel like that. I can't help that. I can't. So it's like, how do I reach everybody? TikTok is one. Like, y'all are all here. There's 31 of y'all in here, and I appreciate y'all being here because, you know, like we're just sitting here, we're just talking. How many other nurses, I want you to think about that and put it in the comments. How many other nurses do you know get on here and just flat out tell you, hey, bro, I failed my NCLEX? None. Because they use it as a way, people use it like, oh, I failed, like people are going to judge me. Hey, I don't give a damn about what none of y'all got to say about me. None whatsoever. Because me failing my NCLEX does not show anyone what type of nurse that I am. It's all about the work, the consistency, and how you take care of your patients. That's what it's about, right? But no one will ever know that you failed your NCLEX until you told them. No job will ever ask you, hey, how many times you failed your NCLEX? Oh, 3 times? No, we don't need you here. Okay. Yeah, sure. That'll never happen. Ever. So, yeah, like I said, so Kaplan's pretty good. If you guys haven't checked out Kaplan, that is one option. Okay. And when you guys buy NCLEX reviews or anything like that, don't think about it as buying. Think about it as investing, because you are investing in something that is going to push you here. Invest $200 so you can start making, you know, $200-300 a day, and then start building up them skills. And the next, you know, you're gonna be out here traveling, making $200 an hour. I ain't saying the highest ones I've seen for RNs have been like $110 an hour, especially during those crises. So I ain't saying you're gonna be making $200 an hour. I'm just saying it could happen. And it depends on what specialty you go in, but we ain't gonna be talking about that. So if you just joined me, my name is Kevin. I go by the Boot Nurse. I am a nurse. I'm an NCLEX coach. I am a plethora of other things. And we're talking about failure today. Failure specifically. I had another story to talk to you guys about that. But if anybody ever needs coaching, anybody ever needs any type of guidance, especially when it comes towards the NCLEX, check out thebootnurse.com. We're in a bit of a revamp right now with thebootnurse.com, but it's still functional and all that good stuff. So anybody need coaching, go check me out there. I'm going to see what else you guys are talking about. I'm trying to catch up. We don't have anything with Hesse up here in PA. It is turn off invites. Why people be trying to jump into my invite with that? We don't have anything with Hesse up here in PA. Is that an entrance exam? So Hesse, it is an entrance exam, but they also use it as an exit exam. So you use T's. I'm assuming T's is ATI. That's Party Gnarly. And Hesse is the exact same. It's the exact same thing. It's just like where some people, like I have a friend of mine. She was in Alaska and went to school, and they used Kaplan as an entrance exam during their school for exit exams, as well as any other exam that they had. So hopefully that answered your question. 3 years for me in December. 3 years. Hey. Hey, like I said, you may be delayed, but you're never denied ever. Mark Klimek said NCLEX only changed 10% when changes are made. Yeah, that's about right. But then there's some other thing, like I said, adding. If you think about it, there was only certain ones that they added. If you think about it, there's certain things that they added. Like, so they did the partial credit. They did the freaking, the case studies, the drop downs, the fill in the blanks. Now, usually it only changes about 10%, but when I was looking on the ncsbn.org website, it looked like it was a little bit more than 20 to 30%. So usually they say this one probably changed about like anywhere between 20 and 40. Now, the content would change about 10%. Now, imagine if I change content altogether. This is just a different format of what was added to the NCLEX. Okay. I heard 25 to 35% from my program. So it all just honestly, it just depends. But I would say a smooth 20 to 40% that is changing. It's not necessarily the content that's changing, like, the content for like diabetes, like that's relatively like not going to change. Your electrolyte imbalances, like, that's not going to change, but the format of how I ask you that question has changed. I could throw that with the case studies. They literally have thrown, they could, out of one case study, like one big paragraph, they can ask you like anywhere from like 8 to 10 questions out of one paragraph. Right. So for those of you that have passed your NCLEX and you guys did those research questions and you're just like, oh, that's what these look like. And some of you may have possibly thought that they were actually part of the NCLEX. I know I did the first time. That's essentially like what they're going to. The format actually doesn't look that bad. And, they're going to be updating the format as time goes on as well. So like the content may change about 10%, but the format has changed quite a bit. But like I said, multiple choice questions are still going to be there. Freaking your select auto apply is going to be there. Your click and drag for like if it said like, hey, like where's the water pump located on, I'm not the water pump, but the water seal, where is that located on the Pluravac? Click it, X, go on to the next one. They still have those. They still have the ones where you listen for sounds, like, we're talking about like stridor or crackles or wheezing or anything like that. They add, those are still there, Yes, we don't. Let's see. What do I offer? So I do a 30-minute consultation, so to speak. And we talk about time management. We talk about different study tactics. We talk about, like what are some things that are bothering you? What are some things that are preventing you from doing what you need to do for yourself? Do you have a good support system? Like we talk about all this. Now in the package itself, if you purchase it, we talk about time management. We always talk about time management. We talk about your accountability. We create a personalized calendar for you based off of your life. We create, and that personalized calendar will come with like, different things that you need to review. So let's say, for example, you purchase Archer, and then as you purchase Archer, I actually help you determine what you need to study, when to study it each day, and we input all that into into your calendar. I create a tracker for you, so that way with that tracker, after about 5 quizzes, I'm gonna be able to know where you need to kind of tweak your focus, like where you need to be. Like, okay, cool, you're doing really, really good in management of care, but you are doing terrible in pharmacology. So I need for you to actually spend a little bit more extra time looking at content over pharmacology. That's just a couple of things that I offer, to include my personal phone number. So that way you can talk to me. You can text me at any point in time, of course, with respect, because I have a 1-year-old and my man don't care about anything I got going on except for change my diaper, feed me, hold me, love me, console me, all that stuff that babies like, right? So I hope that answers your question. Will the next gen be harder than the current one? That's a very subjective answer. And who is it? It's Mary P.N. 07. So with the NCLEX, it's changing because it's adding the case scenarios and the drop downs and the highlights and all those other ones because it wants you to critically think. That's what it wants you to do. Like, I can ask anybody a multiple choice question, but the critical thinking aspect is it's trying to inquire what you learn in clinicals and try to put it into a format, right? Let's just be real. When we're all in nursing school and we're all like sitting in front of a class, or if you're like me where you did online, or if I have some people that went through COVID and they couldn't do anything, it was all lined up and you're just like, I have to do everything online. But then like the moment you get into clinicals, you're gonna be like, man, this makes so much more sense. But then it makes you critically think. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. I'm looking at a patient's vital signs and I see a patient that has, okay, I'm looking at a patient's vital signs, but before that, I found out I had a patient who was, a 25-year-old who was in a motorcycle accident, fell off of his motorcycle, came in. Now he's in my med-surg unit. And now that he's in my med-surg unit, I already know, his sample history, like how he got to me. So I'm going to be thinking about, possible head trauma. I'm going to be thinking about probably a tension pneumo. Like, these are the things, like when I'm getting the things that I'm already thinking about, right? And as I'm looking at my patient, I'm talking to him, like I see that he has a chest tube in, or I see that he has an incentive spirometer that's right there next to him because I need to know how his lung capacity is going. And I'm looking at his vital signs. He has a heart rate of 100. He has a blood pressure of 100 over, we'll say 79. Right. So and we know what a normal blood pressure looks like. So, and remember, he has a chest tube in. So then I'm like, man, is he having a bleeding issue? What's his air? Like, let me look at his O2. Okay. His O2 saturation with a chest tube is at 95. Okay. Like, what are the things that are most pertinent to me? Right. That's the aspect that is being brought and put in front of you via a case study. And I never really liked case studies because in school they felt so rushed. But when I was studying for NCLEX, I enjoyed them because I took my time, I got to read them, and I got to understand exactly what they were asking. That is what is essentially being added to test you. And out of that one paragraph or that one case study, they can ask you 8 questions, up to 8 questions or something crazy like that. So do I think it's harder? Like I said, hindsight's 2020. Now when I enter, I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. I know that. That's because I worked in the ICU for a year. And now I work, now I work in the operating room. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm an OR nurse, so I work in the operating room. I worked in a burn ICU for about 6 months, and then I worked in a medical and neuro ICU for like anywhere from another 7 months after that. So I have a year of like ICU experience. We can talk about that all day, but I really hope that answered your question, Mary. I don't think it's going to be harder. It's just going to require a little bit of adjustment. Also, it's only for students that fail. What's also for students that fail? The card of love. I know I'm finally just kind of catching up. So I noticed that most ATI questions are tailored in a way to certain cultures. Julian Nurse, elaborate on that one for me. I'm actually kind of curious on that. I never really noticed that. Then again, I never really took ATI. I never took ATI. I used HESI. Will it be harder? I think I already answered your question. Marianne, thank you for the rose. That's really nice of you. I don't really get roses like that. I told a story where somebody gave me a rose last time. I think I was at a bar and I was outside with all the smokers, hanging out with the smokers. And some lady just gave me a rose and I was like, oh, thank you. And she's like, oh, that'll be $5. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't want your fucking rose then. lady. She was really nice though, and I gave it back to her. I really want to switch to become an ultrasound tech, but I'm scared. I'm in cybersecurity right now. What you scared of? What you scared of? Cybersecurity, IT stuff is like all numbers, like Helen Keller, like zeros and ones. There's nothing wrong with switching a career. And the thing about it is, like, if you're scared, go to church. I'm just kidding. Don't go to church. Well, no, go to church. Go to church if that's what you do. But cybersecurity, hey, if that's what you do and you like it, cool. But if you want to switch to it, switch to it. There's nothing wrong with switching careers. I was active duty in the military for almost 14 years. Now I'm in the reserves. So for me to go from being all military to going to being a nurse, that was a huge transition. Hell, it's still a huge transition for me. So don't be scared to do it. Don't ever be scared to do it. Always be willing to try something. Like me, I want to learn how to fly a plane. It's definitely scary, trust me. So you can definitely get over that. You can definitely get over that. Shout out to everybody who decided they want to follow me. I appreciate you. Yep, that was my class. That's what I was lacking because of the period during COVID. Yeah, so if that's what you're lacking during that period during COVID, so now the school is going to pretty much tell you, hey, we did our job. Hey, we did our job. We got you to graduate. They don't care about nothing else. They don't care about nothing else. So now you have to kind of figure out, hey, how do I get there? How do I get there in order for me to succeed? How do I get there? How do I understand this material? What do I need to buy? What may be best for me? I had people suggest I had people suggest UWorld to me, and they swore up and down by UWorld. But it took me a while to figure out that I had a content issue. And UWorld, in my opinion, is not good if you have a content issue. If you understand great aspects of content, UWorld is great because it gives you questions with rationales, and that's it. And you hear people say, hey, all you need is questions and rationales. That's like you telling me, hey, all I need is my AC set at 78. Hey, first of all, you're a demon and get out of my house if you want your AC set at 78. You see what I'm saying? So you have to figure out what works for you. Not everybody learns the same. Are you an auditory learner? Are you kinesthetic, which is hands-on, which is most people? But you can't use hands-on stuff when you're doing NCLEX, right? However, you can train yourself kinesthetically to sit in front of this computer and to do NCLEX style questions and to do your content, because your exam is on a computer. It is not on paper. All right. It is on the computer. It is not on paper. Right. There's another way you can kinesthetically learn. Train your brain to sit in the environment that you're trying to prepare yourself for, AKA that testing center that you may have been in multiple times or you have never been in. All right. Food for thought. So make sure you fill that content gap. You're welcome, Mary. I took my NCLEX and I got the good pop-up. How accurate is that? Because I'm nervous. Well, I did a review on I did the Pearson View trick. I actually did the full video on my YouTube and I broke it up in parts and I put it on TikTok and on Instagram. So, and also on Facebook. So here's what I'll tell you is that it is not accurate. Nothing is accurate until you see your, your nursing license on your board of nursing, right? So I would suggest staying with that. Although I did put it up there because people were doing it the wrong way and they've been charged. And once Pearson View charges you that $200, you will not get it back. If you go and you look at my video, I said it, you will not get that money back. Okay. So, it's about, I kid you not, it's about 99.9% accurate. However, it is not official. Notice what I said. It's 99.9, but it is not official. Okay. The only official way is if you get a pass on Pearson View, 9 times out of 10, they've rectified, make sure that there's nothing faulty going on with your exam. And then you go over to your board of nursing, get your license number, good to go. Nurse, whomever. All right. So don't be nervous. Well, I can't tell you not to be nervous because it's a very nervous thing. But let me be the first to congratulate you because welcome to nursing. Welcome to being an RN or being an LPN, LVN. Because once again, shout out to all my LPNs and LVNs because y'all are nurses too. Because literally it says nurse. It says licensed practical nurse, licensed vocational nurse. I don't know where people get the mix up, but you're still a nurse. It's just that your roles and your responsibilities and your scope of practice are just different. That's it. I am in the process of switching from education to PTA, like physical therapy assistant. Why don't you incorporate education with PTA? I'm all about, look, I'm all about expanding the mind. I'm all about, giving back to people, which is why I like doing this, which is why I do the coaching, which is why I'm trying to reach as many people as I can. I'm trying to have my foot in the door and trying to make a foothold within the nursing education space. I'm actually going to go back to school to get my master's and probably eventually my PhD or my DMP, or my doctorate in education. I'm sorry, because I never thought I would love teaching, but I love teaching. So if you're doing education, go to be a physical therapy assistant if that's what you like to do and that's what you want to do. But you don't have to leave back education if you love teaching. Incorporate both. That's exactly what happened. Now it's that part that I need help figuring out on my own. I'm assuming, Miss Moto, you're talking about like what you need to know in regards to like where you need to go studying wise, like what material, where to start at, so on and so forth. And if you need help, you know where to find me. So, what resources are best to use to study for the new Gen NCLEX? You know what? Y'all give me a second. Hey, while I look this up, y'all let me know where y'all are from. If y'all are just now joining the live stream, my name is Kevin. I go by the Boot Nurse. This is my website I hear where I offer coaching. I do a 30-minute consultation. We're talking about failure today. Failure is the topic, but we're talking about other things as well. If you guys have any questions or comments or concerns, drop them down here in the comment section. If you guys know any tips, tricks, or any good study material, also drop them down here. I do NCLEX coaching and all that good jazz. Make sure you guys smash that like button because I want all the love. I want to see them hearts. I'm talking about going crazy on the right side of my phone. I'm pretty sure it's the right side. I don't know my left from right. I'm slow. So, y'all give me a second. I'm going to look these up because I actually have a couple of YouTube videos to where YouTube videos and YouTube channels that I would always recommend to people. I did it on my last live stream and some people were just, I don't know if people use them. I don't know how well they helped with anything, but I'll go ahead and I'll pull them up right here. Okay. Let's see. I did UWorld Archer Review, Simple Nursing, and Saunders. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Okay. I will be taking Kaplan. Can you let me know more about Kaplan? So Mary, if you want to go to my YouTube channel and look at my Kaplan review, and it's a 14-minute video, and I think that you'll like it. It's pretty in depth. Kaplan is the best. I agree. Exactly. My stepfather has AC at 78, and he is a demon. You're right. He is a demon. What's wrong with him? Look, you come to my house. It's the Arctic in here, baby. No, it's not really the Arctic because, that electric bill in Texas ain't no joke. But no, we're like at a good 73. And then at nighttime, we're like at a smooth 70 with the fans on because that is the way God intended it. It's kind of like that Homer Simpson where he's like laying in the bed and he's all snuggled up and somebody memed like a fan into it. Gucci. Thank you. Thanks for the fire. Nice. How long does it take? How long does what take? How long does it take for you to find out the results? Depending on the state. So I know usually it's anywhere from 48 hours. So it's 48 hours from the day and the time that you took the exam. So if you took your exam, let's say today, which is Wednesday at 1300, your results should be available 1300 Friday afternoon. Going to add you. I appreciate you adding me. Thanks for the love. And like I said, we're going to be putting out more stuff. I'm actually going to start putting out more videos, even little short videos, from content, if it, even if it's 3 to 5 minute videos on my YouTube and start putting more stuff up on social media. I'm working on a bunch of stuff. It's kind of hard being a one man show, but sometimes we just got to make these things work. Like I said, I don't ever want, content was an issue for me. So I don't ever want anybody to have an issue with content. Cause I want you to know hey bro, it's right here. I will be taking Kaplan. Can you let me know more about it? Oh, I think we already talked about that. Hi, everyone. Hey, Lovely. I see what you did there. Do you help nursing students as well? Unfortunately, I'm not really geared towards helping nursing students. However, I am a nurse and I will always help a nursing student. Always. Georgia, Fort Benning. Ew, gross. I'm just playing. I had a buddy who was out there in Fort Benning. New Jersey. So every time I think about New Jersey, I really think about that South Park episode where everybody was dressed up in tan and they would I don't got to take this shit. I'm from Jersey. That's probably very, or the Jersey Shore. It's weird. It's terrible. I'm sorry. Connecticut. I ain't never been there. Heard it's cold. So Denver, I hear it's really high. I see it there because they're high at elevation and they allow marijuana use. All right, I'm done. I'm going to go back to doing what I was doing. I just failed for the third freaking time yesterday. I was a 4.0 student. Please help. Hey, if you need help with coaching or anything like that, go check me out at thebootnurse.com. I do coaching. I do all kinds of stuff. Hey, make sure I want to also you guys to go over to Instagram as well as on my TikTok. I post little snippets of videos. Go add me over there. Go look at them. You can go all the way back as far as like 2 years where I put little snippets. If it's not good YouTube channels, good podcasts that are good out there, doesn't matter. Like I've put out all types of little stuff and I'm going to continue to keep doing it. Okay. Bay Area, California here. I heard it's really expensive up there and I've always wanted to go, but I don't got no friends up there. So I'm just saying, but shout out to California. I lived in San Diego for about a year. I enjoyed it, but it's just like, my pockets really don't like California like that. Not me listening like I didn't take the NCLEX 17 years ago. Hey, Simon, hey, don't be like that. Or Simone, I'm sorry. Hey, don't be like that. Don't be like that. Are you saying that because you took it on paper? I'm just playing. But, hey, it ain't on paper no more. So, so devastated I failed first time this past Saturday. Don't be devastated that you failed. Don't be devastated that you failed. Understand, you know what? I'll take it. We take it in stride. All right. One thing that one of my mentors told me, he was just like, hey, you failed. All right, cool. I'm going to let you have your 24 hours of your pity party. But if you're going into hour 25, still mad and upset about why you failed, you're already starting off wrong. Right? So when you get your break, this is for everybody that's in here. When you get your breakdown, hey, you know what? I wish I had my break. I have my breakdown in here somewhere. The next time I do a live, I'm going to bring my breakdown so y'all can see them. I might do a live either tomorrow or Friday. I haven't decided yet. But use your breakdown to show you where you are lacking at. Okay? Don't be devastated. You failed it on Saturday. Okay, you failed. There is nothing that we can do about it. And that's one thing I'm going to tell you, that I'm all about the tough love, because the tough love was given to me. All right, cool, you failed. Now I'm going to ask you this. What are you going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? You're going to still feel devastated? Or are we going to figure out how we're going to get to the next level? That's what I'm saying. Can I get your YouTube channel name? And thank you. Mary, my YouTube channel name is The Boot Nurse. When you go on there, you'll see my glorious and wonderful face. That'll be in my military uniform. Yeah. So that's where you'll find me. Just stumbled on your live. Any advice is welcome. Well, hey, is it I don't want to butcher your name. Is it Securely? I probably just butchered it. So sorry, but you know I'm talking to you. Thank you for stumbling across my live. I hope that it's super helpful for you. M. Burns, it says, use Kaplan, UWorld, Saunders, Hurst, and have failed for 3 times. What do I recommend? So those are a lot of reviews that you've used. So my question is, when you use Kaplan, did you use Kaplan as the whole review, or did you just use questions? UWorlds are questions. Saunders, did you use the book or did you use the online? Hurst. Now, me and Hurst, I don't have a problem with Hurst. We all love us some Aunt Marlene. However, her accent, granted, she could be the smartest woman in the world, but sometimes her accent is such a distraction to me that I can't hear it. That I can't really obtain it. So Aunt Marlene just was not my cup of tea, and there's nothing wrong with that. But her review stuff that she has, I think, is great. Now, my question to you is, what didn't you do by using all those reviews? Like, how were those reviews laid out for you, right? Did you? And another question, a lot of people will tell me, oh, I used all these. Okay. How much did you study a day? How many questions did you do a day? What didn't you do? Like, there's a whole, like, taking your NCLEX is not just about learning the content and reading questions. It's all about, do you understand what you're looking at? And that would be my recommendation to you. Nurses rock. Yeah, nurses do rock. It's hard out here. All right, am I ready for Ramadan? I do have a friend of mine who's doing Ramadan, and I personally am not participating in Ramadan. But she definitely gave me some education on that, because I asked her. I was like, please educate me on Ramadan and, like what it means. That way, I'm not ignorant to it going forward. Not saying I was ignorant to it I'm not saying I was ignorant to it a lot. It's just for the fact like, hey, I want to be educated a little bit more on it. And who is this? The card review. Oh, he's asking, or they're asking, do you help new grads? If you're asking me if I help new grads, I help new grads. So here's the thing. When I get new grads, and I specifically work in the operating room, when I get new grads or I get new nurses or I get new students, my board runner or my charge nurse, she knows that I love getting students. And so they give me, I had two nursing students and a surgical tech student that were all with me in my room all day. And I loved every bit of it because I enjoy teaching. I love teaching so much. So do I help new grads? If that question is for me, the Carters love, then yes, I do like to help new grads. Had a triple bypass in 2016, best care in the cardiac ward. I'm glad that you had really good care. Like people that have cardiac issues, they're among the most sick population. And, they're actually with a cardiac patient, have high levels. We are very particular and we're very observant of the infection rates. So we're super conscious of making sure that rooms are super clean because we definitely don't want somebody to have an infection when they had a cardiac procedure. New York moving to Florida in 4 months. Hey, I can tell you right now, you will never get it cold. It will never be cold like it was in New York ever. I actually just left Florida on Sunday. I was there. I went to Disney World and Universal Studios. Took my family there, and it was really, really nice. So, oh, come on. I'm on the base. No, Moto. Sorry. Pamela, hi. Thanks for showing up. You're in Philly. Hey, shout out to Philly. The only thing I know about Philly is Will Smith and Meek Mill. See? Ignorant. Don't listen to me. No, shout out to Philly. Oh, and Philly steak and cheese because, that's the greatest thing that God has ever given. So, I don't see the prices on your program on your website yet. So the Carter Loves, if you go to my website and if you click on where it says just coaching, the prices, the packages will pop up over there. Okay. No, I was actually on the computer 17 years ago. Man, maybe it was like in the mid 90s, I think, Simone, when they started transitioning to computer. I have one of my mentors. She became a nurse like in 98 or something like that, or 97, and she took hers on paper. So I tell her all, and she's an OR nurse, and she's been in the Navy for a while, and she's still my mentor, and it's really funny just messing with her. So let us know what time exactly for the live, because I want to see how I can break it down. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we'll do this. How about Friday at 6 o'clock or 1800 Central Standard Time? I'll do another live, and we'll talk about that. There, I already laid it out for you. Doesn't matter by state with how many times you can take the exam. So it differs by state. There's some state, like in Texas, last I checked, you have up to 4 years to take that exam. So you can take that exam as much as you want within a 4-year period. After that 4 years, you have to go to like a remediation through the Texas Board of Nursing. I think is it Florida? I think you only get 3 chances to take it. So, 3 chances to take it. So it all just depends. I use the book for Saunders. What did you use? Okay, cool. Yes, not yet. I use ATI, Kaplan, Saunders, Mark Klimick, and Professor D. Never used Professor D, but I definitely use Mark Klimick, Saunders, Kaplan, never ATI. Are you familiar with Remar? Regina Callion, of course. I listen to a lot of Remar nursing. I followed her on YouTube. I followed her on Spotify. I think she had a Podbean. Kaplan also has a podcast, but I think the last time it was updated was 2019. I really liked their pharmacology one that they had on there as well. It was super, super helpful. So yes, I'm very familiar with Remar. I like Remar. I follow her. Like all these people that do these NCLEX reviews are like mentors to me because I listen to and I see everything that they use. Like there's another one, NCLEX High Yield. That's another one. Of course, nursing.com. You got Picmonic. So there's a bunch of other ones that are out there too that could be super helpful for you. 2006, Lord of mercy. I don't know how this makes you feel, but I graduated in high school in 2006, Simone. So just saying. All right, I cannot believe I just did that. I did the Kevin Hartwood. Oh my God, that's embarrassing. My bad. Bet appreciated. I'll be on your live. ATR, thank you so much. Yeah, hey, not a problem. I'm glad that you can be here, and I'm really glad that I can help you out. So Colorado, it's only 3. Colorado's only 3 times. I have heard people that they went to school in Florida, they graduated, and then I don't know how they transferred their license up to New York, or they transferred something up to New York where they were able to take their exam like multiple more times. I'm not exactly sure how that works. I just know that when I was in Texas, you got 4 years from the time that you graduated high school, by the time you graduated nursing school, to pass your exam. So it's there. I've met people that have taken their exam 9, 10 times, and they have been nurses for a couple of years now, and they're out there killing it. Like I said, no one is ever going to ask you if you've ever failed your NCLEX unless you just, outright just give them that information. Okay. Florida is 3. Try then get remediation course. Wow. NY is unlimited. They're so money. Yeah, they are money hungry. I mean, you got to think it's expensive. First of all, it's expensive to live up in New York anyway. So my grandma, she lives in New York. She lives in Harlem. So, you know how it is. New York, you can take the NCLEX unlimited times. Yep, you sure can. NY is 8 times a year, then remediation class. Okay, well, hey, there's a little bit more education that's being given out to us. So, like I said, I didn't know that. I appreciate that. So, all right, thanks for all that info. Hey, once again, if you guys are just joining me, my name is Kevin. I go by the Boot Nurse. I am a nurse, and I'm an NCLEX coach. We are talking about failure. I was just going over so many questions with people. If you guys need help with coaching for the NCLEX specifically, you guys can check me out at thebootnurse.com. You guys can also follow me on all those other social media platforms such as Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, of course, here on TikTok and on Twitter. Everything is at The Boot Nurse. And for all my individuals who are going to be nurses or are going to be nursing students, you guys, if you guys go over to my YouTube channel, I have a testimony from one of my students. His name was Kadeem, and he reached out to me while he was in nursing school. And every so often on Instagram, he would message me and ask me a question. If it was about a job, if it was about trying to understand something, if I had the time, I would message him. I would message him back. And then I would also forward him information about what I use. And I would also give him links to like, hey, check this out. This was a really good video. So just because I tailor everything to NCLEX doesn't mean that I don't teach anybody. Like I said, I am a preceptor. I love to teach. I love everything about teaching. So if you guys ever have any questions about anything, hey, comment on whatever, message me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, because y'all have no idea how much that actually helps here on all this social media by me trying to get out here like this. So there's that. Now, before I get into all of the material, because somebody on here asked me specifically like, hey, what's some really good material that that we can go and look at that can actually that's really helpful. So before I go into that, there's one thing that I do want to talk about. And I want to talk about NCLEX failure. Specifically, I want to talk about NCLEX failure. How do you help with test anxiety? We help by test anxiety by rinsing and repeating, by putting you in the same situation and the same type of scenario over and over and over and over. That way, once you're in the testing center, you have already prepared for it. Okay? So, let me answer this last question before I start talking about failure, because Simone is up here going in on something. Let me see. No one has ever asked me about my GPA or transcript. Employers care if your license is good. That's right. We like to call that unencumbered. Your license good? That's right. And you're talking about practice. If I created the testing center verbatim, and if I sat in my testing center practice area every day before I took my exam, the test anxiety will be gone. I'm going to give you an example. When I studied for my NCLEX, and I studied for 2 months, 56 days. We'll go with that, 56 days. Every time, I was very regimented. I'm in the military. I'm very regimented. When I'm there, I'm there on time, aka 15 minutes early, right? So when I was studying, I would wake up. And when I would wake up, I do whatever. By 9 o'clock, I'm doing content. So from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock, I was doing content, right? I was sitting here. I was using Kaplan. I was taking my whatever notes that I needed to take for myself. And then I give myself an hour break. And then I would do a test. And it would be a minimum of 75 questions. Go ahead and tell me in the comments why it would be a minimum of 75 questions and not 10 here, not 20 here, not 5 here. Go ahead and tell me. So I would do 75 questions and then I would time myself. I'll be like, all right, cool. It took me an hour and a half to do this. Now, after I did that, I would go back and I would remediate times 3. So if it took me an hour to take a 75 question exam, I'm going to remediate or I'm going to review my exam for 3 hours because that gives me ample time to digest what I was just tested on. Okay. And then after that, I would do a little bit more content, but maybe like 1 or 2 or something like that. Then I would call it a day. Then I would rinse and repeat. And I did this at a minimum of 5 days a week, right? And so it got to the point to where I when I was studying, I was like this, just looking at the screen. And then I was just clicking, right? NCLEX day comes up. The NCLEX day comes up. And when I took my exam, it was at 60 questions because these were the COVID or the Rona questions. I don't know if I can say COVID because they might block me or something, but the Rona questions. So I didn't have to have the 15 questions, the 15 research questions. All I had was the 60 just straight NCLEX questions. By the way, there were people that got the NCLEX questions at 60 and still failed. So don't think just because they took the 15 research questions away, don't think that people weren't failing because they still were. So I got to I had about 9, select all that apply. And by the time I got to like question 9 or 10, I was already sitting like this because I had already built up a routine. So the anxiety was already gone. I had already built up a routine. I already know what the testing center looks like. Hell, I might as well have known who the dude was, who the old retiree guy who was sitting there taking my pictures, made me do the biometric scan, made me put my phone inside the bag, made me put it in a locker. I might as well have been on first name basis with this dude. I've been in there so many times, right? So by the time I got to question 9, I sat there and I was like this. And I didn't realize that I did this until I was about at question 40. And then when I did it, I was like, that's how I knew I was already in a rhythm. So if you prepare to sit for your exam, or to test for your exam, or to write your exam, depending on where you live. I know some people may be in Canada or in a different country, in whatever different country. Practice like you play, right? Come here, no phone. Don't be on here going through your phone on TikTok because it's addicting, or on Reels because it's addicting, or on anything social media, or doing anything that is not pertinent to what needs to be done, which is that face in this computer, period. So you want to get over test anxiety, you need to practice the exam. And you need to practice your exam the way that the testing center is set up. Period. That's how you get over it. Because next you're going to be in a routine. And then by the time it's all over, you're going to be like, what the, like, I didn't even realize that I did it, right? By getting over your test anxiety, by practicing like that, the nervousness going into the exam is going to be gone. The nervousness is going to come afterwards when you're after your test submits, because then that's when everything that you have built up is now gone, because now you're like, oh, I haven't prepared for that, right? But now your exam is done because you calmly got yourself through it because of the way that you practice. So practice like you play. It's kind of like what Deion Sanders said. Everybody know Primetime up in Colorado doing his thing, and I cannot wait. I don't even like Colorado like that, but I'm about to watch and see what he's doing, right? So you may not be the best, but you're going to go out there. You know what? Like you may not start, but you're going to go out there. Those are things that you have to prepare yourself. I'm all about words of affirmation, and I'm all about, speaking things to existence. I believe what I put out into the universe is going to get back to me times 10. So post little post-it notes around your room too, but like, I will pass NCLEX, and then answer the question. I will pass NCLEX. You'd be like, fucking right, I am going to pass that NCLEX, right? You don't got to say all that. If I offended you, I'm sorry. I'm a sailor first, but I'm doing better. But thank you for being here. Once again, my name is Kevin. I go by the boot nurse. I am a nurse. I've been a nurse for almost 3 years. I've been an NCLEX coach for almost 3 years. we're talking about failures. We're talking about preparing for that NCLEX because the NCLEX is changing starting April 1st. And this is not a joke. This is not a game, people. This is not a joke. This is not a game. All right. So the NCLEX is changing. How well and how best are you going to prepare for it? Okay. So if anybody ever needs help with coaching or anything like that, check out thebootnurse.com. I do coaching. I do a 30-minute consultation. So if you ever need help or know anybody that needs help, shoot them my way. Make sure you guys follow me on all the social media platforms. Okay. All right. So now let me get back into the failure. So I failed my NCLEX 3 times, right? First time I got my exam, it was 75 questions. So I actually did a video on I failed NCLEX, and it's on my YouTube channel. You guys can go and check it out, okay? And so I failed my NCLEX, like I said, multiple times. And when I failed my NCLEX, I was just like, man, I must have did really good or did really bad. I did terrible. It was like below everything, right? Then the second time, I got 265 questions. People that are taking their NCLEX now have no idea what that feels like. No idea. If you have taken your exam since the COVID era, you have no idea what that feels to go sit for 265 questions. It's not good. It's terrible. It sucks. So that was probably the worst exam I've ever taken in my life. Like I had so much anxiety. I had so much, just everything. I didn't prepare to sit for 265. I prepared to sit for 75 because that's what they tell you in school. You only want to get 75 questions. First thing, I'm going to tell everybody in here, you better prepare like you're going in there to do all 145 questions. Because if you get to question 76, when you've only prepared for 75, you're going to be like, oh my God, why? Why me? I must be doing terrible. But if you prepare for 145 and you get to question 76, you're going to be like, that's cool. I'm still in the game. I prepared for this, right? My second test, I didn't prepare for. Now, my third exam, I had 106 questions. I felt like I was more prepared for that, but I failed that exam as well. And so when all that happened, I was just like, man, maybe I am a failure. Maybe I don't deserve to be a nurse. Maybe I don't deserve to be here. Right. And now when I say that, it's more along the lines of you're only considered a failure if you fail and you stop. I think we could probably all agree on that. Like you're a true failure is if you attempt something one time and then you just give up. I think we could all agree. If you agree with that, hey, let me know down in the comments. Let me know down in the comments how you feel about that statement I just made. So I had a mentor who's still my mentor to this day. He's a retired lieutenant colonel out of the Army. He's an ICU nurse. Now he does real estate. He does all these other things. Now he's one of those people that I look up to. He flat out looked me dead in my face and he was just like, you aren't doing something right. He said it with a little bit more explicit words, but he was just like, you're not doing something right. And he was just like, obviously what you've been doing hasn't worked. So you need to figure out what you need to do next. Okay. He was just like, so however you were studying wasn't working. So you need to study. You need to figure out a different way to study. And at that point, it's just, I put myself on a schedule. Like I stopped listening to the radio. That right there was the pinnacle of where I stopped listening to the radio. I don't even really listen to the radio anymore. I listened to the radio for an entire week last week, and I was just like, man, I missed out on all these new songs. I don't even know any of these because I listen to podcasts and all kinds of other stuff now. Don't judge me. All right? Don't judge me. So once I took control of what was going on, it was rough at the beginning, but I started to see things progress. I was by the time I got to like my 8th quiz, because I went from like 40, 46, 47, 48, 48, 49. I, for the life of me, could not break 50% on my exams to save the life of me. And then when I finally broke 50, I never went anything lower than a 50. And then I started doing quizzes and I was just like 54, 55, 56, 57, 58. And I'm like, all right, cool. Then I broke 60 and I'm just like, okay, now I know where I'm at. Right. And then I got nothing less than like 58 all the way until I took my exam. So here's what I tell you about failure. You cannot stay where you are. If you want to be a failure, then don't do nothing. Fail it and then walk away and then give up and then let an exam that has no feelings about anything, determine what you want to determine your right and your desire to be a nurse. Hundreds and thousands of people, millions of nurses have taken this exam. You are not the only one who has failed or who will ever fail it. I can promise you. But there's one thing I will tell you is, are you going to let that test determine what type of nurse that you want to be? So many of y'all will come in here and will flat out tell me, oh, it's been my dream to be a nurse. Okay, so it's your dream to be a nurse. What are you going to do to turn that dream into a reality? What are you going to do to turn your dream into a reality? You're just going to sit here and do a lot of this to me? Or are you going to figure it out? Are you going to look for someone to help you? Not saying that's necessarily me, but are you going to look for different avenues that were not working for you? This is what I like to say. This is a reevaluation period for you. And now I'm specifically talking to my individuals who are unsuccessful at this NCLEX, at any exam, wherever you are in life. This is what we like to call a reevaluation period. And this is where you audit yourself. And we all know what audits are. Let's use the tax audit. They want to know, make sure you ain't stealing the money from them because the government always going to get their money. Okay? So you need to audit yourself. What are you not doing? Have accountability. What are you doing? Okay? So that's my spiel on my failure. And I'm going to tell you guys about another failure that I had just recently with one of my students. And I take failures for people that I coach very, very seriously, because when you fail, I fail. Because now I have to sit here and I have to think about and I have to reevaluate what didn't work for you. And then I have to calibrate what I'm doing as a coach. Like, do I need to be more intrusive? Because I can be very, very intrusive. You know, like, what is it that you're not learning? Do we need to have more sessions? Do we need to have more sessions back to back? Would I recommend it being shorter? Would I recommend it being longer? Like, what is your home life? Right? Do you have a support system? These are all the things I ask people when I coach them every single time. Okay. So that's a little bit about my failure. If you guys want to see, the full video, go ahead, check it out on YouTube. Like I said, it's a pretty good one. I edited that video and I actually had a really good time editing it. Sometimes I go back and I laugh at it. So make sure you guys check that out. If you guys are just now joining me, my name is Kevin. I go by the Boot Nurse. I am a nurse. I'm an NCLEX coach. I'm in the military. We're talking about failures, and not just NCLEX failures. Well, specifically, we're talking about NCLEX failures. But it could be a failure anywhere in life. It could be an exam that you've taken. It could be, did you fail at, a relationship? All those things are encompassed, like that are a part of your life. Okay. So, and of course, if you know anybody that ever needs help, trying to prepare themselves for the NCLEX or trying to prepare themselves, they need a coach. You can follow me or you can check out thebootnurse.com and make sure if you guys are looking for the free session, if they're in red, you can't miss them. And then also look at, if you want to look at the packages themselves, it is just labeled coaching on there, and you'll be able to see those packages as well. Okay. So I know I've seen a bunch of people jump in here. You guys let me know where you guys are from. Let me know where you guys are at in your nursing journey. I'm going to be hanging out here for a little bit more because, so I smell dinner cooking. You know what I'm saying? So, I know one thing that somebody was asking me is we were talking about YouTube channels. And let me see if I can pull them up. So here's I have some YouTube channels. I can't really post them up here. I don't know exactly how to do that, but I'm just going to read them off to you. They're really helpful YouTube channels. Delish83, I need a respiratory MBRC coach. I personally do not know any respiratory coaches. I'm assuming you're trying to be a respiratory therapist. And so I personally don't know any respiratory therapists that do coaching. However, if you do work in a hospital, I would visit your local respiratory therapist and have them coach you. There are very unorthodox ways for you guys to get coaches, even if you don't want to pay money. Okay. Like it's not hard for you to go up and find somebody within that specific field. Boom. And then you'd be like, hey, I would really love to learn from you. Okay. Let's see. My daughter is going into university as a nursing major. We'll pass along your info. Is that Porsche Marie? Thanks so much, ma'am. I appreciate that. Pass all that information on to your daughter. Let her know where she can find me. I'm going to start doing these TikTok lives, and I'm actually going to start incorporating them on Instagram as well. because I know some people, they're just like, I don't have TikTok because of whatever reason. I use TikTok for this purpose and this purpose alone. And so, everything has its purpose. But thank you so much. If your daughter has any questions, then she knows where to find me. Waiting on my ATT still. So one thing that I was hearing about the authorization to test is that sometimes they can take up to 2 weeks. Sometimes they can take a month. It took me a month for me to get mine. What I would do is, if you're still waiting on it and it's been like a very extensive amount of time, I would reach out to your Board of Nursing as well as reach out to Pearson VUE to see where that is at in the process. One thing when I took my second exam is that I didn't know I had to re-register for Pearson VUE. And so I went like a whole couple of months not knowing. I'm like, what the hell? So I went the whole couple of months not knowing. So that's definitely something to think about. And I would kind of nip that in the butt just to, for your own peace of mind, so you know where it's at. Chicago LPN program, 3 semester. I'm assuming, is that is it Kishan DeHill? You said you're in your 3rd semester of your LPN program, ma'am. Congratulations to you. So I don't know how long your program is, but I'm assuming it's 3 semesters. It's probably maybe 5, so you're more than halfway through. So all I'm going to tell you, keep pushing. Y'all will hear me say push. Hey, keep pushing. A lot of times in the military, it's just hey, what are we going to do? We're going to push. Or a full send for anybody that likes to play Call of Duty. It's if you're going to do it, you push and you push through. You push through the finish line. You don't stop at the finish line, because you stop at the finish line, somebody's going to pass you up. So you push all the way through. Yes, I'm trying. Can one pass this test without school? Is that a thing? You know what? Let's talk about what's been going on in Florida, or what happened in Florida. So essentially what was going on in Florida, and who is it? Is it Soyoho 1 or Soyoho? That is terrible. I will never do that again. But anyways, to answer your question, there have been people that have been out there that have taken the NCLEX and had never been to school. That's one of the big issues that was going on with the Operation Nightingale, is that you have these people that were paying $15,000 to get a nursing degree, don't know anything about nursing care, the nursing fundamentals, and were passing the NCLEX. Imagine that. Imagine you working with a nurse who never went through the hardships that you went through as a pre-nursing student, doing all the prereqs, fighting to get into school, fighting to stay in school while you were in there, and all the struggles that you went through with all of your fellow students, to graduate, to take the NCLEX, to pass it, to work and take care of patients, to stand next to somebody who's yeah, I just paid $15,000 and I took the exam and I passed. I'm at, okay. Is that a thing? It was a thing. It was a thing. And this is why I like to tell everybody right now, beware of scammers. Beware of these people that are jumping up into your to your Instagram or your TikTok or your YouTube or wherever, or your DM saying hey, I have all the answers to this, that, and the third. I have all the answers to this, that, and the third. Hit up my WhatsApp, do this, that, and the third. Not a thing. Not a thing at all. And I would not advise that. You will lose money. The thing that really kills me is that some people are they'll be hey, I paid $1,000 for somebody to help me and they stole my money. Turns out they paid $1,000 to somebody because they tried to scam. But instead of you taking the time and spending less than $1,000 to incorporate yourself and to invest in yourself to passing this exam, you're looking for the easy way out. So to answer your question, it has been a thing. It is a thing. People are always scamming out here trying to take a shortcut and trying to take money. So it is a thing. I'll just tell you it's ill-advised, and I would never want to work with somebody who didn't go through the same struggles as me. Period. Period, boo. Just saying. What do you think about Nightingale Nursing School in Utah? Have you heard of it? I have not heard of the Nightingale Nursing School in Utah. However, I have heard of the Nightingale Nursing School, and I believe it's in England. I believe that's where it's at. If anybody knows where it's at, forgive my ignorance, but I know it's in England. I just don't know exactly where in England. I would think just for the fact that it has Nightingale on it, it's going to flock. People are going to flock to it because it has Nightingale on it. Because, Florence Nightingale is the mother of nursing. And I would really recommend a lot of people do a lot more in-depth digging about Florence Nightingale. She is labeled as the mother of nursing. However, some people don't feel the same about her. Hey, this is the French fry, and it got seasoning on it. Slap your mama. I'm just saying. So, I hope that answered your question. Let's see. Did you have to pay to register? Do you have to pay to register for what exactly? Like pay to register to take your exam? I'm not understanding. Yes, thank you. Dying to talk about Florida. Yo, that's what happened in Florida. How were they passing? Nursing isn't easy. You're right. Nursing isn't easy. It's so there were like 7,600 cases that 7,600 cases. And I want to say they said like 2,200 of those cases passed and became nurses. Like flat out. And you're like, how, bro? How? And some of these nurses, one lady did it up in Virginia. And it came out to be, she had her license for like 4 years, almost 5 years. And when her employer found out about it, they sued her. And when they sued her for back wages. And back wages came out to like $700,000, and she got like 4 years in jail or something wild like that. I may have misread that article, but that article title caught my attention hardcore. And it's definitely insane. And so it was really like a running joke where I was like, hey, shout out to all my fake nurses out there. And I'm like, look, because I got my nursing degree right there. I have testimony for the fact that I failed my exam 3 times. You can even go to my Instagram and stuff like that, and you can see where I had pictures when I was in school. And so what a lot of people were doing, they were spending $15,000, trying to do that, and then trying to become a nurse, because especially like during COVID, it's just like people were seeing how much these nurses were making, like doing travel nursing. But then you had these nurses that have no idea what acetaminophen is, what it's used for, and when not to give it. And I kid you not, like in 2017, because the Nightingale thing was going from 16 to 21 or 22, one of those. And in 2017, I had when I was in nursing school and I was in clinicals, there was a guy who was a night nurse, and he no bullshit wrote in the patient's chart in their EMR or their electronic record. He put, patient has H4. I want y'all to sit and think about that. What is H4? Y'all about to laugh. Let me tell you. I just graduated from Nightingale School. Oh, okay. Congratulations for that. Why didn't you just go to med school? Why didn't I just go to med school? She was racist. Yeah, she was kind of racist. Maybe not kind of. She definitely was racist. Why didn't you just go to med school? Who is this? I'm gonna answer that question. But I want y'all to answer me, and I want y'all to tell me what H4 is. I want y'all to tell me what H4 is right now. How do you know if nursing is for you? I'm a MA, so a medical assistant, thinking about going to RN school. If you have a passion to want to do it, do it. This is for Lex EB 94. If you're happy, I'm all about happiness. I'm all about it. I don't care what you do. Whatever brings happiness to your heart, and whatever, not only does it bring happiness to your heart, but it brings peace, right? So if you like your job as a medical assistant and that's where you want to be, stay there if that's what you want to do. Now, you probably won't know nursing is for you until you get there. Like most people, like once you become a nurse, they'll be like, man, this is not what I thought it was going to be. And that's where it's always like that. Always, always, always. However, there are many, many, many different areas of nursing that you can work in. You can work on the floor. You can work ICU. You can work oncology. You can work in the OR. You can work in the PACU. You can work in pre-op. You can work in the cath lab. You can work in clinics. You can actually work at insurance companies as a nurse. You can work at medical devices companies where like the people that come and do the in-services for everything. There's tons of damn jobs that they look for nurses. I swear to you. You could be labor and delivery. You can do peds. You can do work in a clinic. You can work in a dental clinic. Now the big thing is like women want to work, or not women, but people want to work in aesthetics. Botox and lip injections. I don't know if you guys notice, but I don't have that problem. So, but yeah, like a lot of people, that's where they want to work at. So you'll never know if it's for you until you try it. And then if it's not for you, then that's okay. That's okay if it's not for you. Okay? So you just have to be happy about the decision that you're going to make, okay? And that's for Lexi 94. Let's see. Somebody better have answered my question about what H4 is. He wasn't trying to say something else, but said H4. No, he gave a description. He was like, patient has H4. So I'm going to answer this question. H4 septic? Nope. So he essentially said patient has H4, went into some other details. And so we were confused and we called him and we were like, hey, what is, you put in the patient's chart that they had H4, blah, 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 blah. They're like, what does that mean? And he was just like, oh, H4. And we were like, no, we don't know what H4. What are you talking about? He was like, H in the Roman numeral 4. So what is H in the Roman numeral 4? Go ahead and put it down there. And Lexi, you're very welcome. Go ahead and put it down there. Y'all tell me what H4 is. H with the Roman numeral 4. Y'all about to laugh. Y'all about to laugh. I'm going to eat this chicken sandwich. Yeah, HIV. Swear to God. My man said HIV. Straight up. Yeah, not HIV. The HIV. Straight up. And then I'm on the phone. I'm like, bro, you mean HIV? He's like, yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, stop it. What happened next? Proceeded to be a phone call from the damn charge nurse and the doctor saying like, bro, why'd you put that in there? I was a student at this point, so y'all already know as a student, you kind of just like, hey, bro, I'm just trying to make it. I just know that I'll never do that. They're like, bro, are you serious right now? Are you serious? So that's my little funny moment. But instantly when I started thinking about all these fake nurses, that's the first thing that came to mind. The very first thing was, oh my God, that dude was a fake nurse. Straight up. But hey, anyways, that's my little spiel about the fake nurses. I really hope that answered your question. But, that's a really good fruit for thought. Like, I want you to sit there and I want you to think about it. Like, how would you feel if somebody came out there and that didn't go through any of the struggle? Yeah, he graduated. He was a nurse. Had already been a nurse. And so, but I want you guys to sit there and think about it. Like, how would you feel if you started working with somebody who cheated their way to becoming something that you worked so hard to become? Would you really want them working next to you? Like, they all in all could be a great person, but it's like, bro, like morally, you're just like, I can't work with you, and I can't believe that you're sitting here, taking care of somebody. Like, I can't. Like, you can't do it. And then, I would really call some other people's stuff into question. So not all of them didn't go to school. That's correct. Now you're right. Not all of them didn't go to school. And another issue. So here's another one that's a big issue. It says, hell no, I would have quit and would have been too embarrassed, right? So here's another issue as well. Is that a lot of the schools that people were going to, they lost their accreditation, or they didn't have their accreditation and they were working towards it. So you had people that were going to a school, like it's kind of like a brick, not a brick and mortar, but it's like a pop-up school. Kind of like how they have pill mills, like people that were like popping up, they rent out a space, turn it into a pharmacy, come do here. The next week that thing is gone. So it's like they have pop-up schools because they needed nurses. So people were just like, oh, let's just start a nursing school. And then sure enough, people were paying for it, but they were working on their accreditation. And then you had people that were going to school who were learning about nursing, and then the board of nursing was just like, no, like you're not getting your accreditation for X, Y, and Z. And so you had all these people that spent all this money. And then, or you had people that graduated that school and that school was never accredited. So some people are actually falling into that one as well. So, when I was kind of reading more into it, I want to try to wait. That way I don't come out here and embarrass myself. And even if I do, I'll Donald Trump my way and say, I didn't say that. Knowing damn well I said it. But it was really sad to see that for a lot of people, especially when they were trying to do it the right way and they couldn't transfer their school wasn't accredited. They didn't want, and now some people are just like, no, I'm fighting for this because I went to school. So there's some people that have actually lawyered up, and they went to, and they were like, no, I went to school. And now they're, out there saying that they're fake nurses. Some people are actually lawyering up. So, that's why I always tell nursing students. So all these people that are in here that want to go to nursing school, one of the important things that you need to look for is your school accredited? And it needs to be accredited by the American, it's the AACN. And if you want to know, if you want to know if your school is accredited or where their accreditation status is, go to your state's Board of Nursing, because they always have them there and they update them, I think, at least like once a month. Okay. So, some of them just couldn't pass the exit, and that's also true. So some of them were actually fighting with the Board of Nursing, saying like, hey, like I had a whole 97 average in this class, but I failed this exam, and now they won't let me graduate. The Board of Nursing actually has started putting things in place for people that were failing their exit exams. I mean, think about that. Going to school for so long, and then you pass everything, but you fail the exit exam and you can't go. Like, to me, that's BS. That's BS. And I wouldn't stand for that either. Yes, always do your research, 100%. So I looked it up. I'm sorry. So is it looked down at the nursing school is from a technical school? No. Not at all. Why would you? No. So we have a program here. And I live in Texas. I live in San Antonio specifically. So if y'all ever in San Antonio, shout out. See you at the Riverwalk. Just kidding. You won't see me there. But we have a program. We have a Baptist health system here, and they have a diploma. They have a diploma program, but it's like an associate. It's like you take your NCLEX and all that stuff, and it's accredited by the Texas Board of Nursing, but it's a diploma equivalent to like an associate's degree, if I'm not mistaken. So I never went there. I never understood how it went. I thought about going there, but I was in the military trying to do other things, and they wouldn't let me go. Or I couldn't go that direction because it needed to be at least a bachelor's degree program. I couldn't do it if it was an associate's or anything lower. So, to answer your question, it is not looked down upon. It is not looked down upon on what school you go to. Because let me tell you something right now. Don't nobody care where you went to school. They won't ask you. No one asks you, hey, what school you go to? Oh, you got a diploma? Psh, peasant. No one's going to say that. No one's going to do that. I might do that. I'm just kidding. But yeah. So definitely be mindful about doing all your research for your schools and all that good jazz. You have to pass the exams. Yes, you do have to pass those exams. But then there was a lot of times where if you failed your exams, they put you in what they call remediation programs. So when you're in a remediation program, like they make you go through like board vitals or something like that, where you have to answer at least 500 questions a day. You have to pass them, so on and so forth. And then that'll suffice as you passing your exit exam. I know people that did. I went to school with a girl who started nursing school a year before me, and she graduated same time as me. So, it's because she was having that issue as well. So, if you're just joining, my name is Kevin. I go by the Boot Nurse. I am a nurse. I am an NCLEX coach, and we were talking about failures. We were just talking about, hashtag fake nurses. And, yeah, that's essentially like what we're talking about. I'm actually about to go over a couple of YouTube channels that may be remotely helpful for anybody. If anybody ever needs help, like with coaching specifically towards the NCLEX, go ahead and check out thebootnurse.com. And I do a 30-minute consultation over there. I'm also working on an NCLEX review. As a matter of fact, I just got finished doing what is this? What is this lesson called? This one was I believe it was your vital population. So like or I'm not vulnerable population. So as a nurse, what do you need to know for NCLEX about vulnerable populations, such as people that live in impoverished areas, the level of education, our older population, people that are homebound, stuff like that. So vulnerable population was the one that I just got finished doing, and I was just kind of QCing it, making sure everything was good. And so I'm going to start doing live classes as well. So make sure you guys are looking out for that. I'll start doing live classes here, and I'll start doing live webinars. So I hope to start to see some of you guys there, some of you guys and gals, that will be there, and it'll be a really good time. So let me give you guys a couple of pointers right here. And of course, if you guys just joined the live, just let me know where you guys are from, where you guys are at in your nursing journey. What do you guys want to learn? What do you guys want to talk about? All that good stuff. But I can tell you one thing, on Friday at 1800 Central Standard Time, I will bring out my, my breakdowns of when I failed my NCLEX, because I want you guys to see it, and I'll show you guys kind of how to break it down and what direction to go for yourself. Okay. My daughters are actually in a nursing program that, University of Western Georgia. I'm assuming that's what that stands for, right? I'm a Texas boy. I don't know a lot about the East Coast, except for the fact that I lived in Jacksonville for 4 years. So it's pretty much Georgia. So, is that Tennessee? No, not Tess. Where's Tess? Oh, yes. Got you. I was just like, I don't know. Is that Tennessee? I got you. Boston, Massachusetts, waiting on my ATT. Hey, it'll come. So I hope you're studying, and I hope you're ready for that new generation NCLEX. I know you've been preparing for it. So go ahead and keep pushing. My daughter wants to be an aesthetic nurse. First of all, what woman in here does not want to be an aesthetic nurse? I'm just kidding. But most of the girls that I work with in the ICU, mostly all of them, all want to go do aesthetic nursing. So everybody wants to go and hang out and do spa days and all that good stuff. Yes, Patrick, ask your question. Not interested in bedside, any advice? So the one thing I'll tell your daughter is that most aesthetic nursing places want you to have at least 6 months to a year of nursing experience. So the first thing I'll say is, if she wants to go work there as her first job, as soon as she passes her NCLEX, apply for it. Go straight to wherever they have aesthetic nursing and apply for it. Now, if they all turn her down, at that point, she should at least get at least a year, or at least 6 months to a year of nursing experience, either in an ICU, not ICU, but working somewhere. It could be in a clinic. It could be anywhere, wherever. The best way to know is if wherever she's applying, they'll say what type of nursing experience that they want there and how long that they want it. But a lot of these places, they'll say, hey, I want at least 1 year to 2 years of nursing experience, or 6 months of nursing experience. I don't care. Still apply. Somebody asked me earlier specifically why I didn't go to med school. I actually wanted to go to med school a long time ago. I wanted to be an anesthesiologist, and I was planning that route for me to go to do anesthesia, but I was about 21, and then I realized that I didn't want to dedicate that much time to school. Like going and sitting in class, doing 4 years of undergrad, 4 years of med school, and then like 3 to 5 years of an internship, and then coming out here and then working as a physician. I didn't want to do it. So, but I did want to still do anesthesia, and then I found out nurses could do it, and the route was a little bit shorter. But in reality, it's kind of not, because you have to go through, your prereqs, and you have to go through nursing school. Depending on what school you go to, it could be, 2 to 4 years. And then you got to get out here and work as a nurse for at least a year before you can apply for a CRNA program. Most time they pick people that are at 5 years with critical care. Then you got to go through 3 years of CRNA school. So the timing would have been just about the same. But my passion for wanting to be a doctor was lost on me probably about 2 or 3 years. I think it was lost on me after when I went on my deployment to Afghanistan. So whoever asked me that question about med school, that's why. Isn't school is mostly bedside, because that's all the nursing that they want. That's where It's a very old school old school way of thinking is that nurses belong at the bedside, but nurses can do so much more. Now, if you want to get your skills down as a nurse, 100% bedside is where it's at. But do you have to go bedside? Absolutely not. My anxiety is so bad I haven't took my test. Okay. So who is this? K Jims 17. So in here earlier I was talking about the anxiety. You need to prepare yourself to sit for that exam. And you need to prepare yourself by preparing your entire environment for what the testing center looks like. And you need to practice and practice and practice. And you practice to the point to where it becomes second nature and it becomes comfortable to you, to where you get into a position of comfort. And the way that you practice here will be the same exact way that you do it at the testing center. And that's how you get over your anxiety in a nutshell. Okay. Patrick, I know you said that you asked a question. Okay, here it is. Hold on 1 second. Bedside is your basis to tell everyone to get at least 6 months of med surg and branch up. Correct. Yes. Is that Sherla Ferris? You are correct. I left school since 1998 with a bachelor's degree in medical tech. Do I have to repeat all those classes? So most nursing schools want you to have your sciences to be what I want to say is at least like 10 years old. So you would have to go back and do all of your science, at least all your science classes and all your prerequisites. So whatever transcripts you have, you're going to have to send them to the nursing school anyway. And then whoever the advisor is going to tell you, hey, you may have done all these, but these are outdated. Things have changed over the last 20 plus years. So you're going to have to go back and do X, Y, and Z. So just failed after getting my 4th consecutive very high on Archer. Okay. So you failed. Who is this? Marissa. So you failed. My question is going to be to you, like I asked everybody else. So you failed after your 4th consecutive high. By the way, when I failed my first 2 or 3, all of mine said high or very high from UWorld. I never used Archer because I didn't know Archer was a thing until way after the fact. I'm going to ask you, what didn't you do? This is where you audit yourself to tell me what you did, what you did not do, and audit yourself and reevaluate. That way you can go back and you can push and you can do it again. So that's what I would tell you. I want to be a nurse. Where do I start? I would first say to you, it's like, if you want to be a nurse, where do you start? I want to know why you want to be a nurse. So go ahead and tell me that. Is it Kaylon? So I want you to tell me that. If I want to get a nursing degree, hold on, Patrick. I see what you're saying. I would like to be a CRNA. So Patrick, pretty much what you're saying is that if you wanted to get a nursing degree, you want to be a CRNA. Okay, what's stopping you from doing that? There's nothing stopping you from doing it. CRNAs have a wide. So if you want to do CRNA, you have to get critical care. So you have to go through nursing school, and then you got to get into an ICU of some sort as fast as possible. Because you can do the ER, but they're looking more for critical care in the ICU. If you can get into an ICU, get at least a year of experience, because that's the minimum that they require, then you can apply for CRNA programs. CRNA school is 36 months, and it's now a doctorate program, so you can come out here and practice. Okay. So yeah, you will need a nursing degree for that. I just failed my first med-cert exam. Okay. So I am 1254. So you failed your med-surg exam. So the one thing I'll tell you is go back and see what you didn't understand, and then get your study on, and then go back and push and go ahead and take that exam again. New York, and I'm not prepared. I have Archer, but not motivated to study. Okay, so if you have Archer, so you mean to tell me, who is this pretty X prominent? So if you mean to tell me that you have the material there, and you're not motivated, you don't want to pass. So it should not be a surprise to you at all, whatsoever, if you pass or not. Because if you've ever been to my lives before, by the way, thank you guys all for being here. If you guys are loving everything now I'm putting out here, go ahead and smash that like button. I want to see all them hearts coming up on this side of the screen right here. Okay. I give nothing but tough love because that's what's given to me. I give you nothing but tough love because that's what was given to me, and I mean it from the depths of my soul. If you have a review and you're not utilizing it, don't expect to pass. Just don't. Don't expect to pass. I failed the NCLEX and I have to retake it. I'm currently working in the ER as a grad nurse. Who is this? Is Megmel? Ma'am, I really hope I'm not destroying your name. So one thing I'll tell you right now is you have to push. Like you failed your NCLEX and you're going to retake it. Okay, so when you get your breakdown, let's figure out why. Why did you fail it? Where were you a deficit at? Do you not have a content? Do you have a content gap? Do you not understand the questions? So on and so forth. You have to reevaluate and you have to audit yourself. Okay. Hi, which NCLEX do you coach? RN, LPN? Both, actually. Is that CC Nurse Betty? I coach both. I see Charlotte message there. What kind of coaching do you offer? I failed NCLEX, so now I have to take the new generation NCLEX. Okay, Nurse Loading 2022. One thing I'll tell you is that we had a really long discussion about that earlier. And the new generation NCLEX, first of all, I don't want anybody in here to be afraid of the new generation NCLEX. Don't be afraid of it, okay? Don't be afraid of it. They're adding in case studies because they want to see your critical thinking, right? They're adding in drop-down menus or drop-down fill in the blanks. They're adding in highlights because I want to know, where is your critical thinking? Where is it at? And until you're put in a position to start to think that way, you're not going to be able to answer those questions correctly. So practice like you play, right? The new generation NCLEX, it shouldn't scare you. It's changing anywhere between 20 to 40%. And by that, I mean the format of how they're asking the question, not the content and the material. Usually that changes anywhere between 5 to 10%, right? But it's so small that you would rarely recognize it, okay? It's just the format of things that are changing, like select all apply is now partial credit. So like now it's not like back in the day where, back in the day, and we ain't even got to freaking April 1st yet, is you click on it and, it's either you get them all right or the whole question's wrong. Okay. Do not be afraid of taking this exam. Do not be afraid of failing. Do I want you to fail? No, but do not be afraid if you do. You dust these shoulders off and keep it pushing. Always keep it pushing, all right? Okay, yeah. And so the coaching that I offer is, I offer for RN and LPN, and now all my coaching is going strictly towards new generation NCLEX, so that's all that's there. And my coaching relatively is not going to change. It's not going to change. Oh, one big thing that goes with my coaching, which is the part that people love the most, is so let's say, for example, you bought Archer. And I'll be like, all right, cool. What I do is I actually help you break down questions. So you and I will break down questions together, but they're questions based off of what you have already answered. And then sometimes, depending on whatever they are, we will go through them. We'll go through questions together, and then I will help you understand why you got the question right or why you got it wrong. Okay? Hope that answered your question. I'm really trying to answer everybody's question, and this is probably the most interaction I've had in the whole TikTok. So if I miss your question, hey, just go ahead and drop it in there. Just go ahead and drop it in there. Do you recommend LPN or RN school? I'm not that great at math. Well, Lexi, let me tell you, I'm no mathematician. So neither am I. Okay? Nursing school is not crazy math. It's like conversions, dosage calculations, and stuff like that. I'm not a big math person, but if you practice enough, you'll do okay. And do I recommend LPN or RN? Either in LPN school or RN school, you're going to learn the dosage calculation, the drip factors. You're going to learn all about that too. So it all just depends on you and what you want. A lot of people say like I have my cousin. She's an LPN. She loves it. She has no desire to become an RN. She loves being an LPN. At least right now, she does not have a desire to be an RN. And that's okay. Remember, like I was saying, be happy about where you are. And be happy about what you're doing. And if you're not happy, change it. Okay? So it is all personal preference. The money is better, or the salary money if you work in a hospital is better for an RN. But my cousin, she's a traveling LPN up in New York and the New Jersey area, bringing in like $4,000 a week. I think she's good. I think she's good. Okay. It's virtual. Nurse Loading 2022. Are you asking if the coaching is virtual? We out here. Hey, if you guys want to know who America's first surgical assist is, his name is Big Weather. Hey, and that's one thing I love about here is we got to be more supportive of one another. One of my goals as being a nurse is to cut that shit that talks about nurses eating their young. I don't know where that shit started, but that shit's going in. Because that's one thing that I absolutely hate. I hate it when you have all these salty nurses that are out here, these older nurses, hell, even some of these younger nurses who have been working in the field for 5 years, and they're rude, disrespectful, and upset about the fact of a brand new nurse not being able to pick up something as fast as they do. We are all different learners. My goal is to nip that in the butt. And every time and even when I'm at work and I hear people talking trash about whatever, because it happens, I'm just like, you do realize that you were a student at one point, right? You do realize that. And that comes from my teaching background. You do realize that, right? Okay, cool. And then usually no one really says anything to me because I start to get really abrasive about it. Because I was just like, man, it's like you work in this field and you forget. You have to teach people that one day they're going to be replacing you. Not physically, but one day you're not going to be in this field. You're going to retire or you're going to go away. You're going to do something different. Why not make an impact on the people that you cross paths with? I never understood that. Never have I ever not understood why people want to eat their young. It's stupid. How do I contact you for help on NCLEX? So for those that need help on NCLEX, you guys can go check out thebootnurse.com. I do coaching over there. If you go onto the website, you guys will see where it says a coaching tab all the way at the top right. And that has the packages on it, as well as I do a 30-minute consultation. So, so that's where you guys can find me for anybody that needs help with NCLEX, okay? So all I'm going to tell you is that if you need coaching, get the coaching while it's there and for the price that it's there. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say, okay? E equals MC Hammer, this guy. Oh my goodness, I can't with this guy. How do I make my nursing school app stand out? My GPA is 3.2. So, what is that? Minimalist Mel. So, ways to make your nursing school application stand out are do you volunteer? And by volunteer, I don't mean volunteer Habitat for Humanities or anything like that. Granted, I'm sorry, not Habitat for Humanity, but the Humane Society. But even though that's a good thing, because hang out with the dogs, because dogs and all the animals need love, right? One thing I'll tell you is do the things that a nurse would do. So volunteer. So volunteer your time. One recommendation I always tell people to volunteer is at the American Red Cross. Every local hospital has an American Red Cross. Go to that hospital. Go to their American Red Cross representative and tell them, hey, I'm looking at volunteering. Or go on AmericanRedCross.org and see where your hospital is at and start volunteering there. And then start racking up hours. And then when you're racking up the hours, start writing down the description of what you did for your volunteer work. And then put that into your personal statement that you have to write, as well as put it into your package itself, because it shows that you used your free time to come out here and help, right? I see high school students all the time that are in the pre-op area helping set up beds and fold things, and in their learning, they're asking, can they just sit and see how the nurses do stuff? And I'm like, absolutely, come in here, stand in the corner, because don't touch nothing, right? So it's just those things are doable. Those things right there can make you stand out. You'd be so surprised how you would stand out by saying hey, I volunteered at the American Red Cross working in labor and delivery, and I did it for 2 years or 1 year or whatever. It shows the consistency and it shows the dedication of wanting to help your fellow man and fellow woman, with your free time. So I would definitely check that out. Medical calculation is super easy once you figure out the formulas. That is correct. Don't be afraid of medical calculations. You'll get it. You don't have to be good at math. I would also agree. You don't have to be good at math. Assisting for America. Big weather. This guy. I'm in nursing school and I have some mean nurses and clinicals. Yep, and you will encounter. Was that Angel? You will encounter some mean nurses, and you will encounter some amazing ones. So I saw that you said that. Learn from both of them. Learn what not to do, and then learn who you don't want to be, and then learn who you want to be like. Because I can tell you right now, some of these there's nurses that I worked with that I flat out said I was just like, I'll never work. I was just like, hey, don't ever put me in a room with them. Don't do it, and they don't put me in a room. So. When I was in clinical, the nurse I was working with said she what? Said she what? Lovely. What do you mean? Yeah. What'd she say? Did I already miss it? I followed you. I would ask my daughters to follow you for some advice. I appreciate it, Patrick. Thank you. I appreciate it. This is the longest live I think I've done so far. So, if you guys are getting value, make sure you guys smash that like button. All right. I was gonna tell you. Look, I'm over here trying to give y'all information. Y'all asking me tons of questions, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I love the interaction. I appreciate y'all so much. All right. So here are a couple. Here are a couple YouTube channels to follow. Okay. That are going to be super helpful. First, YouTube channel that all 37 of you that are hanging out up in here, everybody better go to the Boot Nurse right now on YouTube and go ahead and follow. Go ahead and hit that subscribe and that notification bell. Stop playing with me. I better see at least 37 over there. If I don't see 37 over there, I'm coming for you. All right. So the next one is nursing.com. So nursing.com has a whole bunch of a plethora of information over there. Of course, they have an NCLEX channel. They have a subscription that you can pay for and all that other good stuff. So check that out. Nursing.com. Another one, Level Up RN. I know that those two they were really big on their pharmacology cards. Okay. So they're very big pharmacology cards. And they have a really good YouTube channel that talks about other things as well. So Level Up RN, those are other good spots to look at. And of course, we can't do any YouTube channels without recommending Nurse Sarah from Registered Nurse RN. We all know that lady in them purple scrubs and that southern accent has helped most of us get through nursing school. Hands down. Hey, shout out. Give me some likes and let me know how y'all feel about Nurse Sarah. All right. Nurse Sarah, I love all of her content. She's probably one of those people I want to say she's probably one of those nurses. She just hit 1 million subscribers over the last 2 years, I want to say, who does nothing but a bunch of nurse content. So shout out to Nurse Sarah, her and her husband, her kids. They're out here dropping all this knowledge. Once again, another person who's like a shadow mentor of mine, of somebody who I would like to who I would like to be like, and reach as many people as I possibly can with content such as videos and reviews such as like that. Right. So, I'll resume this here just in a second. What is the easiest way? Oh, I'm gonna answer that question. She was going to make me her little bitch all day. Oh, wow. Okay. So Lovely said that she had a nurse that said that she was going to make her B word all day. So if you guys ever come into a conflict where it's an issue like that and somebody's talking to you like that, you just be like, hey, you know what? That's not how it works. I'm not going to do your bitch shit, or I'm not going to do this, that, and the third. The one thing I want people to do is to not be rude, but to stand your ground and stand firm about how you feel. If you're put in a situation like that, stand up and say something. Hey, I don't like this. Hey, this is making me feel very uncomfortable. I don't know what I'm doing. And that's okay. It's okay to tell somebody that you don't know what you're doing. It's okay if you've never been exposed to it. It's okay if he's like, hey, can I get some help? That's okay to say that. Never be afraid to say that. And never let anybody make you feel anything less when you say it. All in all, fuck them people. They talk about to ban me. Fuck you think this is? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yo. It's building up. And I don't like it when people do that. I don't like it when people do that, Lovely. I'm telling you. And I call out people and I'm just like, hey, what's your problem, bro? Don't do that, right? So, don't let them do it to you. What's the easiest way to study? I am on overload, one subject at a time. Yes, it's a lot of info. Thanks. You're very welcome. I love Nurse Sarah too. Tell the ER staff, tell the ER staff at Downtown Baptist to level up. Hey, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do about Downtown Baptist. I appreciate all the love y'all was shouting out here. Thank you so much. Right? Exactly. I don't know shit. Well, Big Weather, I know you don't know nothing. That's why you're here, right? Hey, you need to tell your wife that she need to be over here learning from me too. And let everybody know at Samson that they need to be over here loving me, baby. That's how we do stuff. All right. So last thing that we talked about was Nurse Sarah. All right. If you guys have just joined this live, my name is Kevin. I go by the Boot Nurse. I'm a nurse. I'm an NCLEX coach. We were talking about failure earlier. If anybody needs help with the NCLEX or anything of the sort, you guys can follow me at the Boot Nurse. I'm sorry. You guys can check out thebootnurse.com, which is where I do coaching. I offer two coaching packages, as well as you guys can follow me on all those social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. You guys can find me all over there, okay? So over here, next one, we're going to talk about simple nursing. Anybody, hey, let me know. And also, let me know where you're from. Let me know where you are in your nursing journey. All that good stuff, okay? And so we were talking about simple nursing. Simple nursing with Nurse Mike. I like Nurse Mike's YouTube channel, especially his pharmacology video. He has some really, really good videos that are on there. And I used him a lot for pharmacology. Although he offers a plethora of other things, he also has a couple of things that are on there to where his stuff mimics what the NCLEX look like. So I just had somebody update me on that one as well. So that's another good place for you to check out. When is this? Hold on 1 second. 1 second. What's today? Oh, that's Saturday. Okay, cool. All right. So, yeah, Nexus Nursing. I just saw somebody drop that on here. Yes, Nexus Nursing actually was one of them that was on here. I think you were in here, Hannah, when I talked about a couple of these before. So Nexus Nursing is another good one. What's else? Picmonic. So if you guys go over to my YouTube channel or whatever, I have links to Picmonic where you can get them up to 20% off. So make sure you guys can check those out if you guys are interested in Picmonic. They do picture mnemonic videos and have really good storytelling. They cover damn near everything from the beginning of nursing school all the way to where you pass your NCLEX. And they don't only just do nursing school; they do other sections as well, such as pharmacology, respiratory therapy, physical therapy assistant, like all different types of other ones. So you guys can check those out as well. I'm in Mother Baby and have was that 4 med and community left? Oh, that's the class that you're in. Left. I'll be done in December, and I'm in Delaware. Well, shout out to you, Angel. Mother Baby. That wasn't a really fun section for me because I was like one of two guys out of my entire clinical group, and so Mother Baby I had to lean a lot on the girls that were in my class. They were all super helpful, and they knew everything from preeclampsia to freaking placenta abrupto, and letting me know they schooled me, and I loved every bit about it. So. The APGAR score, learned a lot about that. APGAR score is really good. You may see that pop up on your NCLEX, okay? And Delaware, I don't think I've ever known anyone who lives in Delaware. I think you're the first person to ever come to my live and be like, hey, I'm from Delaware. Might want to move. I'm just kidding. But shout out to you. Have you heard of the difficulty of the program, Changing Careers? Graduated in 2012. The associate's degree programs for nursing are honestly, they're just as tough as the bachelor's degree. The only thing the bachelor's degree has, it just adds additional classes like research, and some places have psych. It all just depends on what their curriculum layout is. So it shouldn't the only thing about the associate's degree is that it's just shorter than a BSN program. That's it. Remar Nurse is actually on here as well. She has a really good, if you're looking for free content, her YouTube channel, of course, as well as her podcast. She does Instagram and I believe Facebook Lives, at least she does a motivational Monday, and she's on there for maybe 2 hours or so. I think it's early in the morning. But usually all those she puts up on her Instagram or her on her YouTube and stuff. So she's definitely one person I would definitely recommend. Archer is very similar to NCLEX. UWorld is much harder. So UWorld is much harder. I will definitely give you that. So is Kaplan. But I don't like Archer. I'm sorry. I don't like UWorld because UWorld only gives you questions and rationales because I needed more. But, I don't disagree with you. But Archer is another one. UWorld is another one if you're studying for NCLEX. I'm from Jersey. Columbus, Ohio. Ew. I mean, no, I said what I said. I'm just kidding. Want to be a nurse. I'm in Jersey. Okay. You said that you want to be a nurse. I'm asking you why. Why do you want to be a nurse? Tell me why you want to be a nurse. I had to rejoin, so I don't know if you said anything. I haven't talked about Mark Klimick yet, but I'm getting to Mark Klimick. Hey, shout out to this chicken sandwich that's been taking me forever to eat. So, next one, especially if you're in nursing school, Khan Academy. Khan Academy is a really, really good one. It's a really, really good one. Especially if you're in nursing school, when it comes to anatomy and physiology, your lab, how the heart works, how the musculoskeletal, it's a lot. It's a lot. So Khan Academy is one. Ninja Nerds, I'm going to do these in 3. Ninja Nerds, Osmosis, and MedCram. MedCram is really good for pharmacology. Ninja Nerds, really good for pharmacology. Osmosis, really good for damn near everything, because they actually have a medical one. They have a nursing one, and so I have them broken down kind of like up into specialties. So, you have what is it? We talk about nursing camp. That's one. Meds is simplified, so that's another one for pharmacology, which is really, really big. Tony PharmD, huge for pharmacology. I would recommend that one as well. They have another one called Nursing SOS. So you can check out Nursing SOS. I really hope everybody's writing these down. You have Zero to Finals. That's a really good one for nursing school. You have the Amoeba Sisters, which is really good for NCLEX and nursing school. You have Crash Course. Crash Course, they actually have a whole bunch of stuff, but go specifically if you're looking for anatomy and physiology, if you're trying to get into nursing school when you're in A&P, fantastic. We already talked about Nexus Nursing. Another one I'll recommend, her name is Kristen Marie, and you can find her at Kristen Waldorf. That's her YouTube channel. Her and I actually did a webinar with Picmonic probably about a year or two ago. Very, very sweet. She works... I think she does mother baby. So anybody that's interested in doing mother baby, fantastic. She has a really good thing for pharmacology cards as well. So it's really, really, really helpful. And now let's talk about Mark Klimick. But before we talk about Mark Klimick, if you just joined me, my name is Kevin. I go by the Boot Nurse. I am a nurse and NCLEX coach. We were originally talking about failure and how failure can, fuel you to be successful. If you're looking for any type of help in regards to the NCLEX, either if it's your first time or if you've taken it multiple times, you can find me at thebootnurse.com. Okay. As well as you can follow me on at the Boot Nurse on every social media platform. Don't be afraid to say hi. Don't be afraid to comment on any of the videos or anything like that. It's me replying, doing all that stuff. All right. Trying to build this community as well as, let y'all know that, hey, I'm here for the long haul. I enjoy teaching, and I'm all about it. Okay. Now, let's talk about Mark Klimick. Okay. Before we talk about Mark Klimick, I know I just did that again. Somebody just asked me, Kaylon, you said it's your passion and you love helping people. Well, I'm glad it's your passion. And I'm glad you love helping people. So if you want to go to nursing school, there's a bunch of stuff that you have to do. Like you need to figure out what school you want to go to. You need to know what prerequisites that they need. Is your school accredited? I don't want you to try to fall in. I don't want you trying to fall into that pit of being hashtag a fake nurse. So you need to know if they're accredited or not. You also can think about like, all right, now that I know my prereqs, where can I go to take my prerequisites? Do I want to go to a university or do I want to go to a community college? Do I want to take my classes online or do I want to take them, face to face? How much is it going to cost me? So those, like, if you want to start to be a nurse, that's what you have to look at. For your science classes, they all need to be A's, but if they're B's, it's okay. But C's will not get you in nursing school. Like, if you get C's in nursing school aren't bad, But if like those science classes are the biggest thing that they look at, Pt.1 and 2, micro, chemistry, pharmacology, all that stuff. They look for those, okay? So I hope that answers your question. Did y'all talk about Archer yet? We talked a little bit about Archer. I actually don't mind Archer at all. So, but anyway, so we're going to talk about Mark Clemick. That was the last thing. So Mark Clemick has the most pirated damn review like on the internet. Like, period. So he has the most pirated review. Do I recommend it? I love Mark Clemick. And I still, every so often, like when I'm teaching, I love the way that he puts things into context and he makes it very relatable, because when I teach, I make things relatable. Like I usually use things that are happening like within real time, such as if they're happening like today. But you know, some of those other things, they're very relevant to where I'm just like, hey, think about it like this, and you're like, wow, okay, I guess I never thought about it like that. But his audios were made like in 2008, 2010, something like that. Super helpful, like beyond helpful, but a bit outdated. But even though it's outdated, it's still about 90 to 95% accurate. There's a couple of nuances that are in there that will that are wrong. Like where he talks about if anybody that has a ventricular dysrhythmia, you know, the first thing that they would use would be lidocaine. But that changed in April of 2009, I believe, to where it's amiodarone that they use for ventricular dysrhythmias, right? I actually heard his audios first and I got them for free, and I had no idea that he actually had an NCLEX review. This is how I started to learn, thank God to Google, and I actually went to his actual review. So let me show y'all. Like, I actually have the actual yellow book, if you guys can see it. Hold on. Yellow book, blue book. And I went in 2019. The actual review, and I went to the review in Houston. And so he even said it like, you know, it's going to change, so on and so forth. So after this, and ironically, when I took an exam, in the exam, that's what it said. Like, and I picked lidocaine, and I was like, why the hell did I pick lidocaine when I know it's amiodarone, right? So, but he's very, very clear. But I went to this review in 2019. And after I listened to it and I went to the review, it's all pretty much still like accurate and relatively the same. So I was going to give that to somebody, but that's like one of those sentimental things that I can't get rid of. And I tried and I can't. So no. But I always recommend people using Mark Clemick. Always. Like always. Because you use a different sense of acquiring knowledge, if that makes sense. So the majority of the time you're sitting in front of your computer, just looking, you know, doing whatever, answering your questions. But then now you're just like, man, like what's another way that I can acquire knowledge? Audio. How many people sitting here, how many people in this room sit and listen to music? All of you. How many people sit and listen to podcasts? Not all of you, but some of you listen to podcasts. And you're just like, wow. And remember, this is only temporary. So some people are like, oh, I can't listen to it because, you know, I need to be jamming out while I'm in the car. And I was just like, okay, so you mean to tell me you're not willing to change a habit so you can be successful at passing this exam? Okay, whatever. And they're just like, oh, or is it didn't put it that way? I like, this is where I tell you have to audit yourself. This is where I tell you have to do that. There are things like you, obviously something that you did wasn't working. So I am suggesting other means that can help you. Right. But you guys got to remember, is like even when I coach, it's just like I'm not there with you 24/7. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know if you're not understanding, you know, so it's like I do what I can with the time that I'm given. So when it comes to studying, think about those other alternative ways. Like I said, I love like with Mark Clemick. I only listen to Mark Clemick when I was driving to and from work, when I was at the gym, if I was in the shower. If I was mowing my lawn, anything like that. But when the moment I sat in front of this computer, it was off. If the TV was on and I was taking a break, I wasn't listening to it at all. So you gotta really think to yourself, like, what are some alternative ways for me to acquire knowledge? This is gonna sound really silly. All right. So there's a term out there, it's called hypnopedia. And all that means is sleep learning. So what I would do is I would turn on Mark Klimic because he's the only person that actually made sense to me. I would turn on Mark Klimic and I would fall asleep with it being really low, but enough for me to hear it. And I kid you not, I want to say it's like number 2, like the second, like there's like 12 audios out there. And like the second audio, I think he talks about like crutches, canes, and walkers. And he talks about psychosocial something. Like how to answer psych questions. Talking about therapeutic communication. Good. He was just like the secret to answering psych questions are good therapeutic communication skills. Right? Good therapeutic communication skills. And, yep. That's what happened. I fell asleep. And I, for the life of me, can't get one of those psych questions wrong. So, there's that. Laugh my butt off. I've been trying that with YouTube videos. Hey, look, when it comes to trying to get to that next level and you trying to pass, you'll do whatever that you need to do. Ain't nobody trying to tell you beg, borrow, and steal or anything like that. But I'm just saying, it's just like, hey, think about that. Just got here. Who are you talking about? We're talking about Mark Klimic. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. Where can I find his stuff? So that's just the funny thing. It's just like you'll find it. It'll pop up on YouTube and then it'll disappear. It'll pop up on Spotify, then it'll disappear. But it all just depends. It's because he has like a cease and desist because people are selling his audios. And that's his intellectual property. And he has that full right to do that. So, it's very hard for you to find them. It's very hard for you to find them. Best psych nurse are also psych patients. Hey, you ain't lying. You ain't lying. Oh, Mark Klimic. Yes, thank you. Yeah, no problem. I failed my NCLEX. I'm sorry. I failed my first time, so I'm doing everything this time to attempt to pass this time. Well, I'm glad that you're... Is that Oreo? Oreo stay woke? Really? Oreo stay woke? No, let me stop. Well, yeah, whatever that you need to do. But the thing about it is just like, it's consistency, right? So it's like, if you do it all the time, if you only do it like once or twice and, like, oh, it may not work, you got to make yourself like it. You got to make yourself get into that new move. It takes a while for you to acquire those new things. Do you think his info will still be okay for the... Yeah, I do actually, because remember, like it does. So when it comes to patients that are acute, like we'll use the example of like management of care, like acute versus chronic and stable versus unstable. It's not really his saying. It's just the saying. It's just like, who would you take care of first? Like a lot of the stuff that he says, it's still very, very relevant to the new exam. Like that doesn't change. Does he have an online website where you can buy it? Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, hey, you know what? We finna do it together. I just want to let y'all know I had 2 chicken sandwiches right here. I only ate one because y'all asking me all these questions. All right. I just want to let y'all know how much I appreciate y'all and how much I'm going to destroy this other chicken sandwich after I get off this live. So if you want to go, I'm just going to tell you this. If you want to know about Mark Klimic, you can go to his website. It's called Klimic Review. So it's KLIMEK review.com. And he has all this stuff there. He actually retired like 2 years ago, like from nursing. So I don't know if he does his review full time or if he's just like, he's in his 70s now. So he's just like, nah, I don't want to do that. No, he's not in his 70s. He's probably like in his 80s now. Like, he's old. As a matter of fact, I want to see. We're about to put it in right now. I'm about to let y'all know. Let's see. Yeah, so if you go to ClimicReviews.com, he has all this stuff on there. He has all of his instructors on there. And if you go to all of his instructors that are on there, it'll have Pete Savar. He's the one who taught my group in Houston. And it was really, really good. He taught exactly like Mark did. Because I'm assuming that, he let us know, like, hey, this is how it's supposed to be. So I would definitely check that out. What resources? Yeah, clinic review. What resources are good for farm? I said another one earlier was Simple Nursing with Nurse Mike. He actually has a good one. What is it? Farm D on YouTube. There's a couple of good ones. You just missed a whole bunch of information that I give out, but I'll drop more information the next time I do a live, and I'm doing another live at 6:00 Central Standard. I live in Texas. All right, United States of Texas. That's where I stay at. All right. So 1800, 6:00. I'm going to be doing a live review, or not a live review, not yet, but I'm going to be doing a TikTok live at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on Friday. So what's that, the 22nd? Or I'm sorry, the 24th? It'll be the 24th. Do I have to keep doing 75 questions a day? Who is that, CC Nurse? At a bare minimum, you do 75 questions. Now, do you have to do them every day? Probably not. But every other day. You should never go more than 2 days without doing at least, and notice how I said at least a 75 question exam. Okay? Right. Thank you. You're welcome. Can I have the other one? The chicken sandwich? Ma'am. Absolutely not. You know what? No, sharing is caring. I'll give you half. That's just because how I'm feeling right now. The test changes April 1st. Any tips? Study for it. Study for it. And that's not me being an asshole about it, but just study for it. Okay. You have to learn to adjust. But but here's the biggest thing for it is like you already know a lot of the material. The only thing that's really changing is just how it's delivered and put in your face. But the content relatively is still going to be there. It's all about how the content is delivered. It's being delivered to you in a case study now where you can highlight in the case study and you have fill in the blank drop down menus to where you have select all that apply that are now partial credit. You know, the content's still there. It's just the way that it's being delivered to you. So the way I would say to my tips would be to study for how that exam is. Okay. And also, I'm all about, hey, put yourself on a schedule, study 75 to 150 questions a day. But the one thing I will tell you is give yourself a break. This right here is a machine. And if you study too much, it will hurt because most of you get headaches from staring at this computer, all that stuff. Give yourself ample breaks. And usually when I coach people, I actually put breaks inside of the review. Not the review. I keep saying review because that's what I'm working on. But I put breaks in the calendar. I can actually show you guys an example calendar. I'll do that next time. I can show you like, hey, how I label it out. So, you can just do it for yourself, so you can see an example. All right. If you guys, I kind of have like little scribbles, but if you guys go onto my YouTube channel and you look at, I want to say I passed NCLEX in 60 questions, and you can actually get a good snapshot of what my calendar looked like. It was a terrible calendar, but it worked for me. Okay. Okay, thanks. You're very welcome. So select auto apply as partial credit. Now I missed that part. Yeah, it is partial credit. Starting April 1st, they're going to be partial credit. What NCLEX book should I study from? It just depends. There's a ton of NCLEX books that are out there. The most NCLEX book that people recommend, here's two that I know. It's that NCLEX Saunders book, and it's a NCLEX by Lippincott. It's like a thick book. Do I have it? No, I don't have it. But I have a Lippincott NCLEX book, and it's thick. Like, one of my mentors gave it to me because she was like, this is what I use, so on and so forth. But I was just like, it didn't really work for me. So you don't have to really necessarily get a book. And here's why I say I don't like the books too much anymore. I don't like to suggest people getting books is because that's not what your test is going to be on. Your test is not on paper. It's not in a book. It's on the computer. This thing, well, y'all can't see it, but I see this one. This computer, it will be on a computer. So why not practice that way? Now, if you need a book to reference material, such as MedSurge, you already have, use that. But invest. And I'm going to stop telling people to stop saying it. I'm working on stop saying to buy stuff when it comes to stuff of importance. I'm going to start saying invest. Invest in something that will benefit you. Hey, and I want y'all to hold me to it. If I keep saying buy for stuff that I know that needs to be invested, y'all hold me to it. Y'all hold me to it. Let's see. Say that name again, please. What name? I'm guessing you mean for the book. So it's the NCLEX Saunders book. And Lippincott. Lippencott. Lippincott. I hope that helped. I hope that helped. All right, ladies and gentlemen. You're very welcome, CC. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I think I've been on here long enough. I'm pretty sure y'all are tired of hearing me. So, next time we do a live, it'll be on Friday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. And I'll show you guys. We'll talk about failure. We'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. And yeah, as a matter of fact, I think I'm going to start doing a poll. I think the next time I'll do a poll. You guys are very welcome. I'm going to do a poll on like certain subjects. You know, like I'll lay out a couple subjects and then like I'll have the poll out there the whole time. And then I'll be like, you know what, maybe I'll do like on a Monday, we can do like a little mini review. You know, like right here, I'm talking about vulnerable population. But, you know, I have another video on here for diabetes. I have another video. But I have another, you know, my slides I've been working on for, you know, myasthenia gravis and multiple sclerosis and what is important. What do you need to know? You know, what are the nursing diagnoses? What are the important nursing considerations that you need to know by taking care of this patient? You know, stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a poll. I'm going to figure out this TikTok stuff, okay? And create a poll, and we'll figure out what slides that we can go over. And that way, at the beginning of the live, we'll go through a lesson together. So if you guys like that, we'll talk about that and we'll go through that. Okay. So, but once again, my name is Kevin. I'm a nurse. I'm an NCLEX coach. If you guys need help or know anybody that does need help, you guys can find me at thebootnurse.com. And that's where I do coaching. I offer 30-minute consultation, as well as I do have packages that are available as well. So it was wonderful talking to all you guys. This is the most engagement that I have had since I have done TikTok Live, and I really appreciate everybody being here, all the feedback, all the laughs, all the stuff. This is like I'm being completely raw and real with y'all. It's like I don't give a damn if you failed your exam. No part of me cares. No part of me cares. But what I do care about is what you're going to do after that. Okay? So I will see everybody on Friday. I hope everybody has a good, safe rest of their week. And I will see you guys on Friday at 6 o'clock. And no, you can't have my other chicken sandwich, ma'am, because I'm about to eat it and you're not here to eat it. So, but anyways, you guys be safe, you guys be blessed, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.